Sorry, bad case of, what?
Okay, stream is about ready to start.
You okay?
I mean, if you count having valve movements deciding to go crazy,
But I mean, like, you're a Kalo.
sort of.
I'll take sort of.
Okay, alright, let's start the stream, and we'll crack on.
Okay, we're going.
So, thank you. So,
Oh, can I see it?
Plus, can you roll for me, Edge?
I can
Just having trouble.
yes.
Yeah, I'm just having trouble getting into roll 20.
As for the seeing tiny, they tend to be put up a little after the game, but it will be there.
Okay.
So, you have all gathered in the town of Trubyansk. I will never pronounce that quite correctly. And you have come across a seemingly functional large town. There's industry of some description, you're not quite sure what. There are civilians leading civilian-style lives. There are restaurants. There's a semi-functional hotel that you've been staying in. The local forces are far more orderly than the places that you're used to. And whilst there are reminders that the war has happened everywhere, this place has fewer of those reminders, and it's maybe sometimes possible to forget for 5 to 10 minutes in this town that there was a world-ending war. Colonel, who is in charge of this place, seems to be somewhat more balanced than normal, and you have announced that you're going to head south via Kamiensk back to Sestakova in order to update the Major as to the scenario and possibly think about how to deal with the town of Kamiensk, which is known to be occupied by Soviet forces. There is some speculation that they have anti-aircraft capability, though this is a speculation, not known. In the morning, you all wake up in your respective hotel rooms with your commanding views over the town as the pitter-patter of rain, which is quickly building on the dusty outside windows, whilst the inside may be well maintained. Outside window cleaners are something of a thing of the past. And there is a heavy grey presence in the sky, which suggests that this rain is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Other than that, however, it is a perfectly normal morning. And you are able to breakfast, should you so wish, before heading out. What is your general plan?
Having breakfast before we leaving.
Okay. Yep. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. You're given some very basic food. It's not going to be enough to feed you throughout the whole day, but yeah, it'll keep you going for a while. And as you are preparing to go, a corporal will approach the party and head straight towards the Commodore. And will say, "Commodore, I have a message from the Colonel."
Is it?
He'll reach into a pocket and pull out an envelope which is sealed with sellotape. And will hand the envelope over. And written on it is for Major Strathford only. And hands it over and says, the Colonel requests that you deliver this to the Major.
Thank you. Will. He takes the envelope and put it in a pocket.
Excellent. Once you've done that, he gives a quick salute as he's about to leave, and then, assuming you don't do anything else, he will head off.
He makes sure to actually salute back.
the corporal disappears, and your truck is ready to go. It has not been refueled or anything. You're at the same level as before. But you are able to go. The city, the large town is waking up. The factory seems to be going pretty much all the time. There's a shift change happening. Several local businesses are starting to open up. There's the general feeling of a town stirring and rising, such as that you have seen many, many times before the world ended. Other than that, there is nothing preventing you from leaving.
Other than not wanting to leave.
Yes. It is in theory possible for you to just stay here, but
It is good to just stay here. We need to get back to deliver a message.
so
We do.
you all hop up into the 5-ton truck, and way out is very easy. You have no difficulty driving outside of the town. Do you want to drive straight towards Kamiensk, or do you want to head off in some other direction, or take some surreptitious route?
Probably shouldn't go to Kamiensk, right? I don't want to test my luck with.
Yeah, I know there was out of character. There was mention of the sanctuary presence potentially in the surrounding cities, but as far as in character, Rashtagan's a little tired and isn't really saying much or doing anything at this point.
He's going back south.
Okay. Does anybody disagree with the Commodore verbally in character when the Commodore says we are heading south?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I will make a driving roll for Mac, just to make sure that nothing hilarious happens as you're driving along.
But we're not going to Kamiensk, right? We're going around.
That is something that you can choose to do. You can choose to sort of go off-road, head through open fields, or even try and go via the woodland.
Yeah, we're going around that city that occupied by Russians.
Yeah, yes.
Is it your plan to sort of park up a distance away and scout the city out, or do you just want to completely avoid it, not go anywhere near it, not do recon, just avoid it?
I'm parking up and then doing getting recon guys to go and recon it.
Okay. Well, you have absolutely no difficulty driving, and you are able to head down the road up until a point a little short of Kamiensk, where you pull off down a little side track and then eventually into open fields. You successfully identify hard ground, so you don't get bogged down. You are, however, aware that this is going to be a bit of a problem as the day goes on, because the rain hasn't stopped. And the off-road terrain is going to get worse and worse and worse quickly, including turning back. But for now, at least, you are able to successfully sort of conceal your truck in a little sort of cluster of trees, and you're able to dismount and proceed on foot to scout out Kamiensk, should you so wish.
Goes, used to. Goes, Sergeant and your friend, you go up and scout? Use a long range.
It'll be a recon roll, flat. It is actually against someone, but it's against the DC, like the recon rolls of the scouts.
Oh boy.
Sorel, you're in the call. Are you in-game and able to roll a recon? I'll roll it for you. Ominous silence. I'll roll that for the moment, and then I'll send him a message.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Hello. You can, if you're back here, you can ignore me doing the roll for you. You can roll yourself.
Gilded is cutting in and out terrible. I can't make out nothing anybody is saying hardly. I have no
okay.
idea what's going on.
Right. So, is it pretty clear at the moment, or is it still cutting in and out badly?
I hear you say cutting and badly, and I assume you're
Right.
asking me how it is, so it's still pretty bad. I'm gonna have to let me restart my PC and I'll be back.
Roger.
Okay, so we'll just wait a few moments for that.
I will bravely sit here.
It can take a lot of courage to just sit still and do nothing.
That's right.
Hey, Edge.
Yes.
What would you say the date is in game at this point?
Yeah, I believe it is July the 20th.
Okay.
Means it's almost been an in-character month. It's been a busy month.
Yep.
What,
Quite eventful.
the entire story?
Like the entire campaign, yeah. Because now the rules do allow like time skip for if you're doing like a big thing, which is say searching around the same piece of terrain for days, like gathering loads of supplies, that kind of thing. It's actually pretty easy to do sort of like 5 days in a couple of minutes. But you've done complex things every single day.
I haven't even shot anybody.
No, you haven't, and that is good.
I'm okay with that.
Let's see if Sorel, can you hear us?
Yeah, it seems to be a little better. It's still popping here and there, but
Yeah, Gilded is strange. It comes in with sort of random strikes of low quality. But yes, if you're able to hear us to the point of usefulness, then please give me a flat recon roll. This is opposed against the guards and lookouts of Kamiensk. Excellent. Okay, so Emil and Dalton they crawl up slither on their bellies, using dead ground and terrain and so forth as best they can, up to get the best look that they think they can manage over Kamiensk. Now, when you previously looked at this place a couple of days ago, you noticed that there were some barricades being manned by what looked like a militia rather than actual Soviet army, with red armbands. Which you realised might have been the Red Brigades. Now, particularly Dalton, with his many successes, as you are looking carefully at the town, you notice what appears to be a few more static defences around the edge of the town. The thing that really gives this away, though, and even Emil can see this, is static defences are currently actively being dug. There are a lot of people with pickaxes and shovels and corrugated iron and everything necessary, and they are digging in. They are also clearly digging positions for vehicles, though you cannot currently see any such vehicles. Dalton will also notice. Carry on.
Which way are they? Which way are they digging their fortifications, as if they're anticipating the attack from?
It looks as though they are preparing an all-round defense. However, they are expecting the weight of it either down the North Road or the South Road. The reason why you think you can work out that's where they're expecting the weight of it is that's where they're setting up the tank chutes. However, you wouldn't be expecting the armored vehicles to be coming out of the woods anyway.
So if I understand what you said, they're fortifying the road in and out of town, both ends of town.
From your training, you can recognize that this is the sort of setup that you'd do if you thought you were surrounded.
I see.
There's also some good vehicle positions, as in for the tanks to dig in, although you cannot currently see any tanks, facing eastwards across the open fields as well. It's just that the tanks are less dense to the west, where it's woodland. Also notice there are groups of people on foot, no more than 20 men strong, moving in and out of the town, doing various things. So some of them are carrying like entrenching tools. They're a mixture of militia and now you can see Soviet army. There are people coming up the road from the south, from Radomoscow, again on foot. They appear to be carrying a couple of boxes. There are people who are coming out of the woodland with what look like hunted deer, maybe some rabbits, etc. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions, but you also notice that.
No, I don't like.
All right. Well, I would report everything that I've observed to the Commodore and advise that the east seems to be the least defended. So if we're going to go around, we might consider going around to the east in case we're spotted.
Apologize if I was unclear or I got things confused. But the west is the avenue with the least tank defenses, at least, because it's pointing towards woodland.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep. Okay, so yeah. I would say I would tell her that we should go down between Kamiansk and Bechkatow
Okay,
uh,
right, yep.
to go around their defenses on their weaker side in case we're spotted.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. You go first, Mac.
He now thinks there's a in the ranks of the back at the town.
Oh, you're suspecting a rat? Did you say?
Yeah, he's suspecting a rat.
I'm going to say as well that we can use the Commodore's intelligence modifier, even though the Commodore wasn't the one who saw this, based on the descriptions that are coming back principally from Dalton, that you are looking at elements, nothing's complete, of the 9th Tank Division. This is based on units, markings, and so forth that you've seen. However, to call them the 9th Tank Division would be a massive overstatement of their size. It is the remnant of the 9th Tank Division.
This is the remnant of the 9th Tank Division, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, do any of you have any fancy plans other than trying to drive around through the woodland?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think
In
any of
that
us
case,
speak Russian, so.
No. In that case, as the rain continues to build, you start hearing the roll of thunder in the skies, and maybe perhaps a little way behind you, you see the flash of fork lightning come down, strike the ground as the rain intensifies. Mac, I will make a driving roll on your behalf, but it is going to be at minus a lot because you are driving off-road in heavy rain through
In a
woodland.
vehicle that doesn't like being off road.
Yeah.
Yep.
And through woodland. It's going to be tricky. Okay.
I know it's gonna sound D&D-ish, but is it possible I could assist to try and mitigate the massive disadvantage?
I mean, possibly.
You know, like in any case something wrong happens, I could literally just immediately try and get to it and make sure the freaking engine not die.
Okay,
Maybe
that would be an entirely separate role when that event occurs, rather than assisting to stop the engine dying. It's a case of the driving role is, do we crash, do we throw a wheel or something, and then you would do a tech roll to minimize the damage.
What
Okay.
if somebody or me walks ahead of the car to make sure that we're not driving into secret mud?
Okay, I will allow
Or
that.
something like that?
I would say you would do a recon roll flat first, and then I'll use those successes, not at a 1-to-1, but I'll use those successes to modify the driving roll. Okay, all right. And it will, however, mean that you are limited as a party to, at best, going at walking speed.
That's okay. We can deal with that.
Okay.
At least
So-
until we get past. Yeah. At least until we get past Kamiansk.
Just to get past the city.
Wow. Okay. So, Wolf is living up to their name of Lucky as they drive the truck, guided by Emil, quite masterfully through the woodland. There are a couple of moments where you sort of bash the corner of the car up against a tree, the truck up against a tree trunk, but it's at such low speed it doesn't really do anything, and you survive that. And there were a couple of moments where you think the vehicle is sinking down in mud, but you just manage to get out of it, and you are able to successfully slog your way out of the woodland and into the open fields just to the southeast of Skezkro, which is a place you have not been. And that took so long, however, that the sun is starting to sink in the sky. And the rain has not stopped.
Do we know about the city that we're approaching?
No, you know nothing about it. And if you keep going on your current course, you'll miss it. You'd have to turn to the right in order to go there.
He goes to scout out the city, see if there's any Russians up ahead.
Inderdaad.
See if we can actually stay over for the night, so we aren't going to be caught off guard.
What you mean? Try and find a place where you are to hide.
Yeah. Like, basically, he wants to see if that village is not Russian.
Okay. You reckon, from looking at maps and working out where you are, that if you were to send out scouts on foot to go look at it, they'd be able to have a look at it before the sunset, but they wouldn't be able to get back to you before the sunset.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine as long as no one captures you. And then we wait a full day to realize, oh wait, they're not coming back. Rostergan might say something to that effect, a little bit more respectfully and such.
I'm ready to go.
Your orders stand, Commodore?
To figure out if we need it. They don't come back within an hour or two. We know they're caught.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll stay behind to help with camouflaging the vehicle and preparing fighting positions if we're going to stay in this spot for the night.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emil and Dalton can both give me recon, but for different things. Emil for the scouting, Dalton for hiding the vehicle. Okay, so we'll start with Dalton. You very quickly realize that disguising this vehicle is going to be extremely hard because you are in like rolling open grassland with very little interrupting terrain. There's not much for you to hide behind or in.
There's no branches of leaves to do a little. Sure, this little thing. It's
there
bush.
are little clusters of bushes and a lone tree here or there, maybe 2 or 3 trees, but that's not gonna be great. There's not like a proper copse or a nice little like depression with lots of tall grasses, that kind of affair. You can get something done, but the geography of this area is just no. You're not going to be able to do it well.
I mean, it will, darkness will cover us somewhat too, and as long as we maintain light discipline and I mean, we could smear mud all over the vehicle to reduce any kind of glinting, but as far as covering it with trees and whatnot to disguise its shape, based on what it sounds like, this terrain just doesn't have the material to provide natural cover.
Yeah, that's an accurate assessment. And with the recon roll that you just did, you do some smearing, etc. You kind of get to the point where I've done as good a job as I can. And
it's just going to reflect. It's just going to reduce reflected light at this point. It's not going to break up the silhouette.
It's okay.
Emil, meanwhile, moves relatively quickly towards the town of Scarecrow. I want to call it Scarecrow. And very artfully manages to get quite close, using the slowly dipping sun almost at their advantage, which is counterintuitive, but they manage to do it, and avoids being silhouetted, etc. Emil watches for some time, looking for movement, and sees none. The village, small town, large village, Scarecrow, is heavily damaged. Lots of buildings simply are now rubble, not even walls. Quite a few of the buildings that do still have walls are missing huge chunks of them. Vast sections of roofs have been blown out. There's obvious signs of battle damage everywhere. And it appears as though none of the buildings have been repaired.
Oh, so does it look abandoned just completely?
If there are people in there, they're either asleep or inside something. Like you don't see anyone, and you don't see any of the telltale signs of people trying to make do long term. Like windows haven't been boarded up to keep out the elements. Nobody's made any effort to repair anything or make it good.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, that's scouting. I'm ready to turn back.
Okay, with that recon roll, it will not be difficult for you to retrace your steps, and you can report your results to the team.
So, hello. I went to the town, and it looks abandoned. I see no signs of repairs. I see no signs of living. No lights. Nothing. No people.
Well, if that's the case, we might as well hide within the city. We'd expect somebody in the city itself.
Are we not good here? Is this too exposed?
It's not enough camouflage. So somebody could technically still see us.
True.
And we got to maintain fuel supply as well. We don't have a lot of fuel.
Go past the city anyway, so it's the road. The city connected by the road.
Is the city connected by the road? So the road runs east-west. You are currently to the southeast in open fields, and the roads connect in an easterly direction towards Bektal and the town that you just came from with the NATO forces. And they connect in a westerly direction over a river towards Velun and Kepno, which you know is under Soviet occupation.
Okay, he knows not to go over that way. He goes, okay, just keep a lookout on the village where we are, just in case there's any light.
Okay.
Yeah. And stay here.
Yeah. So who's going to be on, or at least taking a shift of guard duty?
Now, as usual, it'll be me.
I'll take a shift.
Because it has to be at least two people, because because otherwise the guard will never sleep. So, okay.
I love a bit of guard duty.
Okay, so we've got three people who are up for guard duty. In that case, could Sloboslaw, Emil, and Dalton all make flat recon rolls. All right. So, it's very difficult tonight. It's a dark night, there's thick cloud cover, there's pouring rain, and if anything, it's almost counterproductive as the thunderstorm worsens and you get flashes of lightning that, yes, provide very brief illumination, but also muck with your vision. So it's very difficult to keep watch tonight. It's also miserable work. Yeah, you are soaked through to the skin. You are going to want to change clothes at some point or dry stuff out, or you're going to get rashes. But nonetheless, none of you are actually disturbed during the night. Nothing approaches the camp. There's no wildlife. Nothing around arouses your suspicion. But you are all thoroughly miserable at the ends of your rain-soaked shifts. By the time the sun rises, it is still raining, but it is easing off, and the thunderstorm element has stopped.
All right, so back on the quote-unquote road.
Yep.
By all means. In that case, it's going to be another driving roll. This one's going to be slightly easier, but still tricky. At least you're not in woodland anymore.
Can I still assist by going ahead, or
You can, but again, it will slow the truck down.
it's up to the
We're gonna play it safe then. Sorry.
Of course, in that case,
All right,
Emil
all
can
right.
make the recon roll, and then I'll use that to modify the driving roll.
not super bad.
Oh, no, not bad at all. All right. So you are driving along, and at first everything appears fine, normal. There's no real difficulty. However, as you move a little bit south and then start heading towards the road again, you start sinking in, and when you take action, the rain is now moderate, but the ground is going to be soaked for a long time. You start trying to do your best to drive your way out of this, but that just sinks you in further. At that point, you stop because you realize that's a bad plan, and you're going to need to get out and improvise a way to get the vehicle out of the mud. It's largely sinking at the rear.
Hey, time for some and try and get the rear wheel out that way.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So what's your plan? Is this going to be a log and rope plan? Is this going to be what's your general plan here?
The plan is Dalton isn't going to be anywhere where he can get hit in the face with flying mud.
He remembers. Do not
Yeah.
stand behind the wheel.
rope and log.
Okay.
Flex my British tolerance for adversity and fucking do most of the work.
All right. Well, if you want to go get logs, you have to find them, because I don't believe you kept the ones that you got previously,
No.
because they're big and heavy.
Well, we kind of got attached to them because they kind of helped us out. So
Okay, I'll say you can keep them.
no, I'm just being smart ass.
Okay.
They're extra special logs.
Well, in that case,
Lieutenant Sobe saw
Logs
or
of special
Sawtooth done.
needs. They were special needs logs.
you certainly had a special need for them. But okay, anyone who is on log retrieval duty can just make me flat survival rolls.
Oh, I'm good at survival, so I like to go.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, hot dog.
The dice
Okay.
really don't like me today.
It's Emil. Emil, they just love him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Dalton manages to find what looks to be a salvageable tree. Maybe with some hefty time with an axe, you might be able to work something out there. However, Emil manages to find what looks to be a small, isolated farmstead. He approaches it, realizes that it's abandoned. Most of it has been thoroughly looted, but it's got a big stack of dried wood in its barn, and only around about a quarter of it has been chopped to the size of firewood. The rest of it is still pretty much logs. So you've got all the logs you're gonna need.
Oh, okay. Now that you've given me a cute little place to look at, before I return, is there anything in the house, like any evidence of anybody having been around recently, or?
Your first obvious clue is there's a thick layer of dust on everything. Your second major clue is when you start looking through cupboards and so forth, you don't find any food, water, perishable supplies. If somebody was living here, it was either a long time ago or they thoroughly cleared out.
Okay. Okay, so no shenanigans for me. In that case, I will return with as much as I can carry and let everybody know.
All right. The everybody who's not staying behind to guard the truck can make me unmodified stamina rolls, and I'll use those as a guide for how quickly as a team you're able to haul the logs back and forth.
Okay. No! Look at me!
Come on, old man, keep up.
I'm doing it. But oh man, in wet clothes and sweating heavily.
Yep. But you do it. Soboslao, every now and again, sort of trips up, falls over. Not going Soboslao's way today.
Fine. Yeah, honestly, today's not my day.
But in time, it takes a because it's not right next to your truck, it's a little distance off, so it takes an hour or two, but you are able to haul the logs back, forth, until you've got enough to form a solid base. Soboslaw, you can give me a tech roll to maximize the effectiveness of the log layout. There we go.
What the still, it's... Yeah,
Very
like,
sorry?
the dice really wants me to die today.
I gotta get my bird. I'll be right back.
All right, so the logs are placed pretty much as well as they can be. Are you going to do just driving out, a combination of driving out and pulling out, or just pulling out?
Driving and pulling at the same time.
Okay.
Because
in that carry on.
Yeah, in that case, because both combinations can actually get a vehicle out. I've seen it actually happen before.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, I'll factor in the rope into your driving roll, and I'll just do a driving roll for you. Right. So it takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of sort of rocking back and forth, takes a bit of hauling. At one point, a log slips out and you have to replace it, but you are eventually able to drive out of your sticky situation and start making a beeline back to hard tarmac on the road south of Radomosko. This is the same general area where you came across the car bridge next to a railway bridge that had been dynamited, but the dynamite was missing. You're back in that area.
Cool. Good. Familiar territory.
How,
You know
how
exactly-
long has it been since we've been through here? I mean, are we talking a couple of days? We talking a week?
We are talking, let me see. This is your 4th day away from this position.
We might want to just double check to make sure that in that 4 days, someone hasn't come along and resupplied the dynamite, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just a visual check, just to make sure that nobody's tampered with the bridge any further.
Yeah. We'll explain to the village. The dude at the village were just inspecting it, so there's no dynamite on the bridge.
Anybody who's part of that inspection team can make me flat recon rolls.
I'm back, and I got a bird. What's going on, sir?
Bird.
Yeah, for inspecting a bridge for dynamite?
Oh, I love
Yep.
I love that.
Inspecting a bridge for dynamite, and I would have explained to the person in charge at the village that's what we're doing.
Oh, you're
Being
far
on
enough
the-
away from the village, they can't see what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay. So, fortunately, it's open terrain. You know the kind of area, and then the bridge itself is actually in woodland, but a little bit's been cleared around it. You know where to go because you've been there before, and it's relatively easy for you to work out that the bridge has not been re-dynamited. You also check the little position that would have been where the detonator was that you found. That has not been reoccupied, and there is no indication of anyone being here.
So they didn't leave us another detonator we could steal.
No, they didn't. No. After a bit, though, when you start clambering up on the far side of the bridge, Emil, you notice maybe a person in the trees on the far side of the river.
Oh, I immediately notify the gang, but as quietly and subtly as possible. Does it look like it's watching us?
You can't tell, it's just a shape, but it would be in the perfect place to do that.
Oh,
He
I
would-
would like to notify Drake. No, sorry, Brandon. Brandon's got the sniper, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Brandon,
Double
scope.
sniper.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay, give me a separate flat recon roll.
I don't see anything.
So Emil describes to you in some detail where that person is. You go, look at that place through your scope. You can't see it. You look to the left, look to the right, look behind. There's nobody there.
Can I try? Is that the rule to ask?
That's weird. Not
May I have
Russians.
a holy scope? If that's all right.
I just imagine Dalton's just like completely not wanting to give Emil.
I'm looking at this old guy, wondering if he really needs a pair of glasses. So 'cause I don't see anything. I don't see a thing.
Can you
Okay,
two just go over the opposite side just to be safe? He doesn't need glasses.
And do that. It is, however, very obvious to you that if anybody wanted to shoot you, the bridge would be a really good place to do it.
Yeah, that's why he wants to send two people across to be on the safe side to
Not safe for those
No-
two people, but okay.
Uh,
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to charge across the bridge.
Yeah, somebody has to go across the bridge. Just in case somebody tries to shoot at the bridge.
I could be on Overwatch.
I think you ought to go over there because you saw him. I didn't see nothing. You know where to look. I don't.
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm not I'm no soldier. You know, if they shoot at me on the bridge, not that they would.
Didn't you say you were retired special forces from the Finnish or Swedish military?
Yeah.
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
He really doesn't want to do this. But he looks at the commanding officer. Am I going? Commandant?
T2k.
Basically, the Commodore side. If neither of you want to go across, then I'll go across.
Well, leaders shouldn't lead from that far in the front.
Yeah.
Right. He grabs his rifle, checks the mag, makes sure safety's on. There's nothing in the chamber, and then he slings his over his shoulder and starts to head across the bridge.
Okay. As you cross the bridge, your heart pounds. You are aware that you are in an almost coverless scenario. Slow moving, easy target, wonderful lines to shoot at you from pretty much any direction anybody might want. You are a sitting duck.
Well, I'd be providing cover from our position on this side of the bridge,
That's
looking
true.
toward the area where he reportedly saw this person.
So you can take revenge when I die.
They can't stop you being shot, but they can kill the guy who did it.
I can either take revenge or I can cheer. We'll have to roll for it.
It can be Overwatch and make sure that if anyone tries to shoot you from a sniper rifle point of view, he can actually see it a lot sooner than expected.
Right.
As you cross over the bridge, no fire comes until eventually you are just about to leave the bridge. You're just about to step onto the outright proper bank on the other side. And only Emil will hear this because only Emil is close enough. Emil will hear a voice calling out in English. Halt and identify yourself.
Emil halts and he identifies himself. I am Emil Messisteya. I'm here on behalf of it's NATO, right? We're NATO.
You are NATO.
Yep.
On behalf of NATO?
Password?
Oh, did we get a password?
No, you didn't.
No. Basically, the person who has the passwords are the commanding officers.
I don't have a password.
And it's at this point you see an American soldier step out of the cover. It's reasonable to assume he's not alone, but you only see this one guy, or at least only one guy steps out. And he says, just put your weapon on the ground.
Of course. He will very carefully, take the rifle for shoulder and put it on the ground, and then he will step back politely.
Okay.
Would Dalton be able to see this through his scope?
Yes, once the guy steps out into the open, you can see what's going on, and you can also clearly see it's an American soldier.
Yeah, so I'd report that to the Commodore immediately.
Does the mayor always have to make things dramatic? He walks across.
Okay, you walk across sort of openly. After a while, they kind of know to be on the lookout for a German naval officer, but they're still a bit. Who are you? so they will say, "Halt and identify yourself."
Commodore Wolf from the German Navy.
Password.
Major didn't give me a password.
Are there any more of you?
Rope across the bridge at the vehicle.
How many men?
He counts in his head. 1, 2, 3 more.
Please wait there. And then he talks to the bushes to his left, and you see a second person get up and go away.
So basically, these American soldiers have learned from the Vietnamese.
After you wait for a few minutes, because this guy will just stand there in complete silence. His rifle is not pointed at you, but he is holding it in such a position as he could bring it up quite quickly, should he so wish.
Laat zien wat we hebben. So much rain, yeah.
He looks at you confused. Your accent was very thick.
The weather. It's been foul.
He's complimenting about the weather.
Yes, he just says, please just remain quiet until my colleagues return.
Not really up for small talk.
After a few minutes, though, somebody comes back and this one's got a Lance Corporal stripe. And of course, I don't think American Army does Lance Corporals. I think Senior Private. And he'll then sort of whisper in the first person's ear before saying to you as a group, or at least Commodore and Emil, says, welcome. The Major was expecting your return. Please, you are permitted to cross and continue on to Sestakova.
And my weapon?
Yes, you may.
He is plus keep a watch out. They're not this village across the bank, but another village up is Russians. Hostile.
Thank you for the warning. We'll stay vigilant.
My pleasure. I would rather yous know that they're lurking about. He goes back over
and then
he goes back across over to the rock. He says, "We're all clear for the rest of yous."
You don't mind my asking, Commodore, who exactly is on the other side of that bridge?
Friendlies. Our friendlies.
The Major.
Yes. Yep. Totally. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. She doesn't know I got a letter for her from beyond the village.
No. It's marked for the Major only.
Yeah. I didn't want to overcome, so no one knows that I'm delivering a letter. So, yeah.
Rostagam will try to... Well, she'll look over at Dalton for a minute, won't say anything. And then we'll just turn back to the Commodore and nod.
Oh, it's only us who know that there's a letter being delivered, and yeah. Keep it that way until we know.
Yes, Commodore.
So we're keeping going down. Clamber back in and head south.
I'll use your previous driving role. The drive into Sestakova is uninterrupted. You do, however, as you're going by, note that, and every now and again you might be briefly stopped, but only very briefly, that there are a couple of observation points or checkpoints being set up along this road, and the process of setting them up is clearly not completed. You are able to drive in. Yeah. You are able to drive into Sestakova. Oh, you can also tell that all of these checkpoints are infantry only. There are no vehicles at any of these points.
Okay, to know.
You drive into the ruined city of Sestakova and towards the large depot where the Major is based, that you have shed so much blood over. As you drive in, you can see that there are still quite a few wounded being tended to. However, the situation does at least appear to be improving. There are also lots of people moving about, carrying things around, ferrying supplies. And you notice in amongst your own people, there are a couple of Russians. And they are giving some directions. Other times they're like in little gaggles, all of their own. However, there are significantly fewer of them than there are of NATO troops.
Good to know. He's not gonna say shit. He's gonna. It's one of the NATO soldiers. Major.
The Major is in the main depot building. She has taken over the main office as her new center.
Thank you, soldier. Carry on. Goes up to where the main office is. The depot.
Takes a little bit of time. But as you make your way through the complex, there are soldiers everywhere. They're tidying things up, cleaning things out, setting things. That this is very much a nerve hub in the process of being built. As you get, however, towards the center, things are already somewhat organized. There's a little network of people all sitting around, coordinating things as best they can. And the Major, as ever, is at the heart of it, standing over a rough wooden table, looking at a map. And she's got a lieutenant with her, and a couple of other people of various ranks, but they're all NCOs, WOs, men. The only other officer here is the lieutenant.
Bringing you some good news. He just stands right beside her and he goes, "Some good news," and slips the envelope over to her.
Major, it seems slightly surprised by this. What? But she takes the letter and sort of puts it in a pocket because she thinks it's supposed to be surreptitious in the way that you're behaving. She'll then turn around and say, Commodore. Sorry, wrong voice. Commodore, I am glad that you're back. What have you discovered?
He points to the city over the bridge. That's controlled by the townspeople. North of that is controlled by Russians. And north of that is controlled by us. And the village to the side and above it are controlled by us. And they're relatively stable as well. The only issue is we don't have a direct line to them because of that Russian village.
Tell me, what have you observed about that Russian build-up at Kamiansk?
Basically, their weakest side is their western side. So they're part of the 9th platoon. The remnants of it is they're known for their tank. So, yeah, they're part of the Russian. And they got the civilians enlisted with them. Plus, they got working for, and plus they got working factories as well.
That catches her attention. But before I go into what she said, the Commodore would know this, particularly with your intelligence specialism. Did you mean to say platoon? Well, because
Platoon.
that is very small.
Not platoon. Not regiment.
Okay, all right. Regiment is closer, but it was a division. But okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so she'll nod at that. This factory. What do you believe it's capable of producing?
Basically, the arm of pretty much the military weapons or armor. Basically, anything for the tanks.
She looks very concerned by that.
Yeah. But our group to the north has a working facility as well, factories as well. So we can cut off this city, pretty much take it over. Russians won't have a supply chain for their tanks.
See. And do you believe that Kamiensk can be assaulted?
By foot, yes, but we can't rely on aircraft because we don't know if they got targeting locking for choppers.
Okay. She sort of processes that around a little bit and sort of slightly translates what you say, but then nods and says, "Very well. From your observations, Commodore, what is your recommended route forward?"
He goes, wooded area right here is the best for making a full-on assault because they won't be expecting it because they were digging trenches on the south and north and the side, and I have to make it back up to the village up here because we don't know. For some strange reason, I think.
Just to make it clear to you, Mac, because Dalton would have told you this, and so I'm just making sure that you haven't misunderstood. Which is they are prepared as though they are surrounded. The reason, which means they've got an all-round defense.
Yeah.
The reason why there's less anti-tank stuff pointing to the west is because tanks coming out of trees is not something that they're anticipating. But their anti-infantry stuff to the west is perfectly fine.
If we have tanks, they're perfectly good for going on the west side because they got less any tanks that side. The infantry is still stronger on that side as well.
She nods. She doesn't like the sound of this. We'll say, do you or your scouts have anything to add to that, or any alternative suggestions? It's interesting that she sort of looks past the Commodore at the whole group, as though expecting anybody else to add, comment, or change what the Commodore has said.
Did we mention that they have, or that we think? Did we see their anti-air tank?
No.
We were told about it, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So I'll mention that.
Yeah, we're told about. Yeah. Yeah, we're told about that.
And have you made any kind of contact with people at Kamiensk, or are they unaware of you?
They're unaware of us. Because we saw them with the armbands and Russian platoons. Russian 9th Division.
She'll nod. And we'll say, well, Commodore, I would agree that taking Kamiensk would be of great value in helping to link up with our NATO friends, our fellow American troops, and in seizing a factory and being in contact with yet another factory. However, this force, and she taps the table, is not in a position to mount another offensive, particularly against a position of the nature that you describe. Given that we are currently inadequate to that task, is there anything else that you would suggest? Perhaps other forces that we could use, or another approach?
Well, if we can ask for, say, we do have men to the village up north. And ask I wouldn't like to say it, but the Polish probably be wanting the village back and stop the Russians advancing through their sector.
Mm.
Turns to Rostergram when he goes, and looks expectantly at Rostergram.
And then she goes, "Oh, I did not mean to draw attention to myself." But she glances back the way we all came and goes, so I'm not sure what the current Russian soldiers outside are doing at this point, but if I have understood what happened over the last few days correctly, they were responsible for helping negotiate the ceasefire, basically, between us and the Poles out of Krakow.
That is correct, Doctor. Also, their chemical warfare units are leading on the decontamination of the supplies to make them usable.
Would it be... And again, she's going, "Oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't be talking too much, because I have no rank in this room, basically. But would it be possible that we could borrow one of the men who actually, or who can speak fluent Russian? And then we could make contact with Kamiensk and see what their motives are?"
You seek a diplomatic solution. I think that may be wise, given the current situation. I would certainly be happy to make such a recommendation. However, I believe that we should wait at least 4 days before doing that. After all, our Russian friends may not approve of a plan to take or do something around Kamiensk, and I do not wish to do anything that would risk angering them until the cleaning of the supplies is complete and this deal has reached its conclusion, which will take a few days.
Understood, Major.
Yeah, we don't need to anger them right now. So we can just wait until... Because we're pissed off. Everyone pissed off Polish either.
Yeah. Very well. Well, as this, I think, is our next major priority, I think you can rest here for a few days to recover from any wounds, and once the cache has been cleared, you will be able to further resupply. Then I will attempt to talk to some of our Russian colleagues to see if they will be able to lend you a translator. The woman who led on negotiations from the Russian standpoint and the Spetsnaz unit that accompanied her have left already. I do not know what their business is.
Right. Plus, the when you get the chance, that's from the commanding officer from forces at the village.
I see. Please wait here, and I shall read it. She sort of goes off into her private office for a couple of seconds. It's about 2 minutes until she comes back. He says, "Your task remains the same: to see if a Kamiensk can be taken or opened by diplomacy, by force of arms, by whatever method you think is appropriate to open Kamiensk. However, I will add to this an additional request, which is that you attempt to identify any sources of fuel, be they diesel or ethanol, and any source of coal that you are able to come across.
Yeah.
Coal, in particular, is of the highest priority."
Yes. Yeah. We totally missed something as well. We have choppers up there for us. Can't use them until they get the fuel they need.
Yes, the correspondents made mention of their desire for aviation fuel. However, they have sought it as a low priority because they believe aviation fuel may not even exist. Certainly, I do not have access to aviation fuel at this time.
Hey. Yes. We'll keep an eye out for it as well.
But the colonel in particular, because she's kind of gathered that you think well of the colonel in particular, and also the factory at Kamiensk, I imagine, should we take it, will require coal. And
Yes.
the supplies are low. Please remain vigilant for any coal supplies you may come across.
Okay. We can't mount any assault anytime soon, or talk diplomatic for it anytime soon. How many days until the?
It'll be 4 days until then.
Okay.
And if you want, we can do a time skip. If you want, you can go off, do some side things. What would you plan on doing during those 4 days?
Just looking at the map, how many days until we can get to the next NATO village? Do you roughly guess?
When you say the next NATO village, do you mean Kilise?
Yes.
Okay, so that's off in an easterly direction. The bridges over the river eastwards at Sestakova have been blown out, so you would need to go either go south and try and find something, or go north the way you came, the way you just travelled, and then turn through Prezbyorsk and go through the woods. If you were to do it in the truck, it would probably take about. Let me have a look. If you ran into absolutely no problems, you could do it in a day.
Okay.
That's us. No problem squad.
Can do it within a day. That's if we don't come across any problems. And he mentions the village that's being blown out. that has no civilians.
That's says Kral. Yep.
Yep.
X through that since you did that for the bridge as well. There you go.
He goes, we can pass through there and see if there's any people there that way.
Also, I was just thinking, would any of you in your backgrounds have a reason to know about Polish geography to any decent detail? My thought is no, but if any of you want to make a case, then I'll let you make an argument.
Absolutely.
Well, as a sniper, I would have studied topographical maps in the anticipation of being deployed within a certain theater of operations, which I would have had access to the maps around portions of Poland where the 6th Mechanized Infantry, whatever it was that we were part of, was operating. I don't know if that would include all of Poland.
Not okay.
I would have had maps
piece
for the
of-
region around where I was.
Yeah. That probably won't give you what I'm thinking of. Here's the piece of information which I'm thinking of giving you, which is where the Polish coal fields are.
No,
Yeah.
that would not be important to a sniper. What's important to a sniper is fields of fire, cover, ingress,
Exactly, yeah.
exfiltration points, that type of stuff. So
Yeah, and whilst the map will have the contours and the towns which are the coal towns, it doesn't say unless you are really knowledgeable, you're not going to be able to work out. Hey, that kind of looks like a coal town. Nah, you
right.
wouldn't know
No, what you're talking about is a geological survey map, and that's
Yeah,
not something the
exactly.
military would use that much. It would be more of a
Yeah.
topographical terrain map.
Yeah, it's people at the strategic and maybe operational level that would have that information.
If it was necessary, yeah.
So yeah, okay. In that case, I'm not going to tell you where the Polish coal fields are.
Unless you want to.
Basically, the Commodore says we aren't going to know where coalfield. He goes, I think none of us will know. Like some countries have coalfields, none of us will know where they are.
She nods
Looking at them
and says,
these
if you were
maps.
able to come across that information, that would be of great use, but also, at least in the short term, pre-existing coal depots may be able to see our colleagues through for the short term. Although in the long term, they're going to need a reliable coal supply.
We'll keep an eye out if we come across a coalfield or something like that.
Out of character. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you. I'll let you work it out yourself. Okay, all right. So, do you want to go to Khalees, or do you want to kick your heels and rest for a few days?
He looks at you.
Oh.
We can rest for a few days, or we can go to Khalees now.
Real quick. What's in Projetports? East of Radomsko.
Sorry, say again, Tiny.
What's east of Radomsko? What town is that? It's like
I accidentally drew on a map. Yeah, so that you haven't scouted yet. You have no idea what's there.
I'll give you have 2 days rest. Because you can go east to Khalees and make it back.
And do you want to take the northern route, which goes to Radomsko and then Prespors and then through the woods, or do you want to take the southern route, where you go via Zydrau, Skazunitsky, and then come up to Kalis from the south. I'll draw the two routes on the map in case that's not clear. So I'll draw one of them in pink. That, or like this. And I'll draw the other one in light blue.
You might as well go through the north to scout out more of the north.
Okay.
Just in case, like, there's any pockets of Russians on the side of the woods where the yeah, just in case.
Okay, I'll just get rid of those. So, there we go. 2 days pass where you rest, relax. If any of you have any remaining wounds, they will be tended to. You do not consume food and water during this time. The base's own supplies top you up. And when you choose to leave, any containers of water that you identify will be completely filled. However, you will not be given additional food when you leave. You're just fed whilst you're here. It's telling that the food situation is probably not that great. As for activity in the base during this time, it is very busy. People are doing things all the time. There's the sound of construction. There's lots of things moving around. There's definite work being done. The Russians and Americans, and there are also one or two Poles, but it's chiefly Russians and Americans, are standoff-ish, but they don't really get into any outright confrontations. They're just giving one another the side eye constantly. But peace holds, as they all want to get access to the great big dump. Because the supply dump has not yet been cleaned, that'll take the full 4 days. You won't get access to large-scale resupply. If, however, you want small-scale resupply, you are able to get small amounts of minor things that are Russian equipment. So yeah, there's no 5.56 for you to have, but there's plenty of I think it's 7.62 and other bits and bobs of Russian equipment that you're allowed to try and get. Do you want any?
Don't a 30-06 do that.
306? I don't think so. No.
No, then I'm good.
No. Yep. No 306.
The Commodore would definitely answer. Supposed to be stationed at I'm gonna butcher the name. The village. Who's supposed to be at that village? NATO forces.
Oh, at Kiel's.
Village.
That is supposed to be. Let me have a look. That's supposed to be the 3rd Armoured Cavalry Regiment.
The British.
No, I don't know. 3 ACR are American.
So they're American cavalry?
Yep. And armoured cavalry means tanks and other armoured vehicles.
We may need them. So we go over and see them. See how they're going. He mentions.
Apologise, I cut you off, mate.
He goes up and mentions to Major, we're going to visit the cavalry to see if they're still kicking around?
The major will wish you luck, and your vehicle isn't refueled. Fortunately, you're not low on fuel yet, but your vehicle is not refueled, and you are permitted to go. You're given a piece of paper by one of the NCOs as you're preparing to go that sort of sets out what the passwords are supposed to be for the next 2 weeks.
Ah, yep. That's what I was asking. Get the password. Thank you. And he puts it in his book of passwords.
Is there any other business that anybody in the party wants to take care of in Sestakova before you head out?
Just a question. When it comes to replenishing, like water and food and whatnot, how much water are we supposed to have, or what's our capacity?
So you lost all of your big water containers, and you haven't resupplied them to my knowledge.
No, I'm talking about personal supply.
Yeah. So the personal stuff is 2 rations per person. Well, like 2 rations per canteen. So if you've only got 1 canteen, it's 2 rations of water.
Right. Okay. Now the question I have is do the Russian supplies that we were offered, would there be canteens in that pile?
There would be, yes.
I would like another canteen of water.
Yep, you can get that without a problem.
Okay.
Oh, I would like to do that as well.
Okay. At this point, I'm now going to roll a d6 because most of the supplies are down in the chemically contaminated basement, but there's a maximum of 4 canteens available to the party.
And we still have a lot of that. We still have a lot of food left over from that deer we killed too, as well. So.
As long as it didn't
You
spoil.
got a lot.
But water we will run
we
short on if we get lost out in the woods.
Yeah, we'll get the 4 canteens just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
He goes to
Make sure you put that in your sheets. Yep.
he goes up to the lieutenant and he goes, "These are the new passwords for the next 2 weeks." And he shows the list. Yeah. Shows the lieutenant the passwords for the next 2 weeks.
I think that's you. So is La.
Say again.
Oh, these are the new passwords for the next 2 weeks.
Right. Thank you. I suppose I'll try to remember it. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, out of game, my mom just kept bothering me over and over again. I'm just going to lose my fucking mind.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Alright. So,
And-
you have rested. Oh, carry on.
And he mentions to the group, if on the way back, if they ask for the password, remind me to passwords.
Understood.
End up like that one very famous British officer from Operation Market Garden at the end who carried an umbrella everywhere. And when asked why he carried an umbrella everywhere, apparently his excuse was he has a terrible memory. He could never remember what the passwords were. But if he carried an umbrella everywhere, it could prove that he was an Englishman.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's a true story, but it's still ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it is. But let's put it this way: his commanding officer used a fox hunting horn to do signals. It was a very eccentric unit.
Only the British would do something like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think he got a VC, but yeah.
A VC? Oh, Victoria Cross.
Yeah. So On the third day, you rise, but not again. And terrible joke. I'm sorry.
I got it.
On the third.
So soon after Easter, really?
Too
But
soon.
yes, on the third day, you get up, you have your food, you assemble your supplies, you load everything that you can into the truck. You've got your canteens. The Russian chemical warfare unit is continuing to do its business, and they're that sort of like all dressed up in those light blue hazmat suits with that anti-contamination spray, just spraying loads of stuff down, etc. But you are able to go, and you head out on the northern road. It is unobstructed. The sky is clear. The ground hasn't completely hardened yet, but you're on tarmac, so that's fine. Mac, I'll need a driving roll. Are you still out of roll 20? In which case, I'll do it for you.
I'm still out of roll 20.
All right. Okay, so you're driving along the road. Dun, 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 dun. Absolutely everything is fine. And as you are crossing the bridge, Mac, or rather the Commodore, sneezes violently. You are unable to quite control the vehicle as you're doing this. You twitch, and you prang into one of the supports on the side of the bridge. You don't knock it out or anything. The bridge doesn't collapse. But nonetheless, that was a bit of a bump. And as a result...
Emo has a heart attack.
No. Sorry, what did you say, Tiny?
Emo has a heart attack. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Emil can absolutely have a heart attack. And as you sort of correct and lurch back from having pranged your vehicle on the side, you kind of get a slight wobbling sensation in the steering wheel for a few moments until there's a loud poof, and you are aware of the front left-hand side of the vehicle lurching down a little bit. I imagine you instinctively apply the brakes and get out and have a look.
Yep. Should have a spare tire.
That's a hell of assumption in an apocalypse.
Can't let it have shit in Manchester.
Yeah, you have ripped your front left tire to shreds.
Oh, just great. Something was going to happen. I'm lucky for that.
No. What do? You are without a tire.
Can it? We're good at fixing vehicles. I like giving you a challenge, Lieutenant. Come on.
What?
The vehicle needs to be fixed. You can't move.
Hold on, give me a moment.
Okay, so I was going to give you this without a roll, but with a roll, it's just all the clearer. The front left tire does not exist. It is just shredded rubber, lying open flat. There is no patching this, and unless you find a new tire, you can't spontaneously manifest a functioning wheel. You need the part.
Well, fuck.
This is a Russian truck, right?
It is, yes.
Why don't we send Emil up to Kamiansk and ask the Russians for a wheel?
I don't speak Russian.
I mean, it's obviously a joke, but still.
He just laughs at that. It's like, oh, it's a joke, and so it's not. I'm not gonna send you up there.
I mean, do we
I
need
mean, what I'm
to?
implying, what I'm implying via a joke is that even if we found an Allied tire, it probably wouldn't fit on a Soviet rim. We're gonna have to find a Soviet vehicle to get a tire from, I think.
We could check out Radomsko. You never know.
You have been through Radomsko. You know that that is a Polish village that is just lived in by civilians only.
They probably have a Russian tire.
Yeah.
Check them out.
I mean, Poland was Soviet at some point, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yeah.
they do have Soviet gear throughout the.
Yeah. And I
Post-
mean, farmers use trucks.
Yes.
I say
Don't
we
say.
go visit Radomsko.
Yeah.
Well,
So my internet just died, so I don't think I'll be able to get back. Cause if you could see how really fucked up the storm just showed up, yeah.
Oh no, I have become a god, and the storm that I roleplayed has manifested in reality at your location. Be afraid.
Lol. The storm.
You manifested it into Florida.
Yep.
Florida is known for
Yeah, we
it's
lost. I know we lost internet. Okay. Sorry.
Florida for its storm, so I'm quite used to that.
All right.
I got a storm.
Well,
I got a storm rolling
So
through here
yeah,
too,
I
but I
don't
ain't
think I'll
lost
be able to
power.
come back. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able. How long my internet will be down. So unfortunately, I think I might be unable to get back to the game. I mean, I could. Actually, no. I could try.
well,
Sure.
storm. Forces of nature be what they are. If you
Okay,
can't play, you
so
can't play.
it's a really bad storm. I'm not sure if I should just should. Shit! It's a fucking tropical storm.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep,
no.
it's a literal tropical storm. Okay.
Well, okay. You do whatever is convenient, and also depending on how bad the storm is, safe for you to do.
Stay alive.
Hold on. Like, I can't. Am I able to stream what's going on outside? Ah, shit. No, it's the voice lobby.
Storm. It's okay.
We'll be able to work around it and keep you up to speed. Do whatever is convenient. Do whatever is easy for you, and then we'll sort of like keep going to the point where we would need you, if you see what I mean. Like we can't cope without you.
True.
Yeah. So just. Yeah, I think I'll just have to leave the call and figure out what the hell to do with this tropical storm that just spontaneously showed up. You could hear the rain, like.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So
Just ping me if you need me. But
Okay.
Take care.
bye.
see ya.
The
No
party has
sooner than we
decided
need,
it's
no
Alright.
sooner than we need Slobosaw to go out into the woods and find some rubber trees to fashion a tire, she gets hit with a storm.
those
Yep.
famous Polish rubber trees in the jungles of Poland. But okay.
Hey, this isn't rubber tree. This is a tree made of rubber. Poland is full of marvels.
A fake tree.
Why would anyone make this?
Perfect. I wrapped the tree around the, what do you call it? The actual
Axle.
wheel
Rim.
thing.
For the
The
rim.
rim.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so it seems like you're heading out on foot towards Radomsko. This will take a significant portion of time, but you are able to do it. You again.
before we
have
go,
to-
though,
Yes.
I wanted to ask, do we have anything to trade them? I have 2 crates of AK ammunition. But that's it.
I have a bottle of vodka.
I have this bow with so many arrows.
And I do have a gun, if we don't want to trade.
Actually, I guess 2. Rostergam has 7 medkits at this point, so potentially could trade a medkit as well.
Yeah,
And I'm
potentially.
still
One
carrying.
medkit.
I'm still carrying 6 portions of food as well. So
Okay. Just so we don't go there and then realize, oh yeah, we don't have anything to trade. It's in the car. Okay, yeah, that's all. I'm happy.
All right. My rulebook has decided to start fritzing out. Okay, so you hike along the road. Are you just leaving the truck on the bridge? Are you trying to pull it or haul it or drive it very carefully to somewhere disguisable? And are you leaving anyone to guard the truck, or are you just leaving it and all walking off?
Basically, he's gonna put it in, drive it off the bridge carefully and put it in and disguising it, and he's gonna go, leave Savislaw there so he can guard the.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to say as long as you don't drive further than the bridge itself and about 15 meters off the side, which is still open grassland, you don't need to make a driving roll. If you want to go further than that, you're going to have to do a roll, and it's going to be at negatives.
He's not going to be driving any further than making sure it's off the bridge.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so.
And make sure it's off the road and so people can drive past.
Right, so you do that without issue, and the NATO guards on the south bank realize what's going on. Also, there are a couple of NATO guards now on the north bank. It's not exactly a fantastic place from which to defend the bridge, but it's a good place to establish a checkpoint. And so they say they'll keep an eye on your vehicle as well, but you can leave Soboslau there. You walk to Radomsko. Everybody can give me a flat recon roll.
Check this one.
Please roll for me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Damn.
So, the party, except for the Commodore, has their eyes peeled today, and you're all able to see that Radomsko is very much as it was when you came through. A couple of guards, they're all civilians, but there's a bit more activity, like lots of people wandering around, lots of people trying to do something. That people are hard at work as you approach Radomsko. Get closer, the guards will say, "Ah, I remember you. Last time you came through here, you had the truck."
I have a store that sells Russian tires for trucks.
Yeah. I don't know what he's got in stock, but speak to the main trader. He's just over there, and he points to what was once quite a large, like 24-hour convenience store near the center of town. But you can bet its inventory has changed considerably.
Oh, thanks. Seems like it's a lot more lively place today.
He sighs when you say that. And there's work to be done. More work than there was a few days ago.
Oh,
Ooh, what's going on?
Well, our neighbors are getting itchy. In fact, and he has a sort of a look at your uniforms. Says, I would be careful around here. I don't have any kind of issues or problems, but the people to the north, the Soviets, they have asked if we could, in the spirit of communism, he says with an obvious bite to his words, in the spirit of communism, share our food supplies with the troops to the north in exchange for their benevolent protection and more complex electrical goods and so forth. He kind of leaves the rest unsaid.
So a side note to like the rest of the party, we should probably try and get our boys in here instead.
you need any help?
Main thing we need is to be left alone. The reason why
That's
I tell
okay.
you to be cautious, again gestures at your NATO uniforms, is the Soviets who came here asked to be kept apprised of what's going on. I'm not going to rat you out, but there are enough people here that if someone is greedy or afraid, they might.
Thank you for that. Besides, we rather have your own independence, so it's always good to see Polish people looking out for themselves.
Nods, but he then also says with a slight bite, it's, however, not always the Polish people looking after themselves. Some of the people who came here were Polish.
I'm sorry about that.
If you want to try anything or sell anything, again, he gestures with his head towards the big convenience store. That'll be the place to do it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Look, and he heads over to the convenience store.
Emil comes along.
You go in, it's your classic 20. It's so reminiscent of some of the convenience stores that you probably saw pre-war in your old world that when you open the door, you half expect it to go bing bong or something along those lines. It doesn't, though, and that its absence is almost jarring. But it is a large 24-hour convenience store. You can tell, at least those of the lieutenant would be able to tell if she were here, from the signs above the aisles and so forth, that there would have been all sorts of conventional things here, like the dairy aisle, the pastas and cereal aisle, the sweet goods, but none of the aisles have got any of the labeled things in them anymore. And at the counter, which is essentially one person, what's clearly a reinforced screen has been added to the cashier's counter, and behind it is sitting a relatively, it looks like the kind of person who was once fat but isn't anymore, and not as a result of exercise, as a result of which his skin looks a bit ill-fitting, shall we say. And he also does not look particularly well. But he is nonetheless sitting there behind the screen. And he kind of just looks at you as you walk in, but doesn't make any effort to say or do anything unless you actively do something.
I go up and ask him, "Do you have any English? Do you speak English?"
He sighs, but he does eventually go, "Yes, I speak some English."
Do you have a Russian truck tires?
Tires. I think maybe I do. Why do you need it?
We have a Russian truck. Our tires, one of our tires is gone.
Oh, so your truck's stuck out there?
Yeah, it's being watched over by some of our men.
He nods. You can give me either a recon or a. Well, I'll do it for you. Persuasion roll, your choice.
I go recon
Okay.
because I'm really concerned if he's the way he's talking.
So whilst he's kind of being blasé, you get the feeling that he only asked why you needed it to see if you were desperate, to see if he could get away with jacking up the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yep. I need to make that.
Yeah, we're cool.
Cool.
He'll nod and say, "Yes, I'm sure you are cool, even in this hot summer."
I didn't see that in character, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can say that in character. He goes, "Oh, it's a very temperature out there."
Yes. Well, you for a buck. I'm guessing how many wheels is the swift done in, and you can give him that information, and he'll be able to work it
Yep.
out. I think I can help you out. 1,000 rounds, rifle rounds, not pistol rounds.
How much is in the crate again?
So you had boxes of ammunition, and I remember telling you how many rounds was in there, but I can't. I'll just hang on. I'll go to your sheet.
Yes, I completely forgot. I have to write that down.
I think it's in your sheet. You didn't know how many is in a box. Okay,
No,
don't worry.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Hang on.
Because remember asking and you telling me, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then, of course, obviously, I forgot to actually write it down.
It's fine. Hang on. It was a lot, but I'm going through my notes.
I didn't hear her.
That's 50. Okay, so that's 59. Hang on. I'm now doing math. That is too many. That cannot be correct.
It's weight
okay.
4, whatever that means.
Yeah, no, don't worry. That's fine. Okay, now that makes more sense. So I'm going to say that it's 250 rounds per box. Because it's like there's like metal boxes with the carry handles, not the little paper boxes. Yeah,
it's an ammo can.
Yeah.
Well, the Commodore, I would have briefed him on that before we got here.
Okay.
So Commodore knows that I'm carrying 500 rounds of AK ammunition.
I go, can I put this around 8 to make up the difference? And we can chuck some, like, 2 medic pouches.
You put the medical bags on the table, metaphorically speaking. Check that. do have an estimated value.
Millions.
Because I know medical supplies are in dire need.
Oh yeah. It's not a complex like medical supply box, but it's nonetheless medical supplies. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going to say that the doctors who put if you put on the table the 2 ammo cans of 7.62 and 2 of the medical kits, he'll lean back in his chair and he's thinking about it. And then, okay, all right, I can do that.
Can I recon just real quick?
What are you looking for?
Just reading him, like, is he thinking this is an amazing deal and he's so lucky and he's, or is
you
it
can,
like,
you can roll a flat recon.
Okay.
Okay. He looks as though he's genuinely sizing that up, as though whatever you just put on the table is somewhere in the ballpark of his asking price.
Makes sense. Just no matter the outcome, it wouldn't change anything. Emil would be watching out for that.
So
he seems to have smarter.
Yeah, he nods. He chews on it for a few moments. He says, "All right. Your 500 rounds of 7.62 and the 2 medical kits." And he kind of fiddles around it to the side, and then you notice a big box just kind of slides over, poof, to the side, and for you to put your payment in.
Paranoid. I like it.
Okay. He is paranoid.
It's. I can't. I said that too often. But it's similar in style to feeding very dangerous prisoners kind of box. You know where.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay, if you put the payment in, he'll boom, slam it back, so it's on his side, and will then say, "My boy will bring you your tire out back. Just stand out there." And he sort of gestures to the street, and he calls over his shoulder and yells out something in Polish. After a few moments, a teenager will come out from around behind the store, and he's just rolling the tire along the ground towards you.
Thank you.
He nods because he doesn't speak English, and he just rolls the tire at you. And the moment you take control of the tire, he just goes away.
Thank you. He thought to be nice and polite about.
Now, do you do anything else in town, or do you head right back?
Right back.
Okay. You are now rolling a tire, which is fucking heavy, for several miles.
Yeah.
We can take turns.
Yeah, we're taking turns.
Can I please get stamina rolls flat from everybody in the team because of taking turns? Emil is the least fit person in the group, and he always aces these.
Let's see how much injuries I get.
Yeah, I'll roll it for you. My mistake. Yeah.
Brandon's in form.
Okay. You didn't actually really get, injuries. You just weren't helpful. So everybody actually does a pretty good job, except the Commodore. The Commodore keeps dropping the tire. It falls off to the side.
Keeps
has
sneezing.
to pick it up and is really straining. The sneezing, yeah.
Typical officer can't do anything.
Yep.
Where's her umbrella or his umbrella?
They're of a high enough rank that they're so far behind the line now. They forgot.
Yeah, they've gotten soft sitting at the desk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Commodore isn't of much help, but eventually you are, as a team, able to roll the tire back. You've got the appropriate equipment, I'm going to say, to fit the tire, but that took you a day doing all that distance and fitting the tire. So day 3 is now coming to an end, and you'll need to camp out unless you want to start taking fatigue penalties.
You said
camping
there
out.
were we had allies nearby, right? Just south of the bridge.
Yep. You are, and a couple of them north of the bridge, although they're clearly not sleeping north of the bridge.
No, we should probably hang out with them tonight.
Yeah. We're gonna hang out with them for tonight and fill them in about the NATO, the Russians.
But when we're walking with the tire, Emil does again sort of, not super seriously, but definitely kind of seriously suggesting, sort of as a joke, but definitely not a joke. Hey, we still do have a truck, and we could just head on south and just leave Poland. We don't have to stick around, right? Just kidding? Question mark? Not really. But besides that, he's
Serious suggestion. What's the team's reaction to this?
The world won't fix itself
nope, it will not.
unless people actually do something.
This is true. This is completely true.
What are you looking for?
And he
does
south? Not argue at all.
Say again, Rostergam?
She'll ask, what are you hoping to find further south?
Sun, maybe less Soviets, less NATO, more peace. Gentler winters.
You've come a long way, haven't you?
From Finland, yes.
And on foot?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was on a boat for a very short journey. But otherwise, yes, on foot. I'm old, but I'm used to it.
One day you'll get that nice sunny away from Russians and NATO.
One day.
Yeah. Says you can't get that. We all have that one day. The one thing we
I apologize. I keep talking over you, Matt, because I keep thinking you're done. Carry on.
that we all get it. We want one day. Yeah, I just want to get. What's that?
But you just wanna.
I just want to get back to my family.
Oh yes. Of course you do.
For
Bless you.
Chinese
I'll pass it on to my
Yeah.
junior.
Chinese
Pleasure.
benefit, if you left Poland by the south, you'd be in Czechoslovakia.
Yes. Which is still Soviet, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It much like Poland, although to a lesser degree, because the Soviet Union was collapsing and it lost a lot of Eastern Europe, but then took it back.
His ideal journey would be southwest and then skirt the Alps.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna have to spend some time going through Czechoslovakia, but then to head to Austria and then okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But no, not now. Not now.
Well, when you get back, having had this conversation and fit your vehicle, you are able to camp out. The checkpoint has set up a little campsite that's well concealed, a few meters into the wood. So they just lead you there, and they've got tents and everything, so you can actually. I know they'll let you sleep in their tents as opposed to sleeping in a truck, which is what you've been doing mostly.
And he'll mention about the Russians assaulting the village up ahead and keeping an eye on our movements. Movements, I should say.
Okay. They offer to let you all sleep throughout the night, but they're not going to say no if any of you want to be on guard duty. Do any of you want to go on guard duty?
Yes, I do.
Right, okay, so you can make me a flat recon.
Hot dog.
Okay. When you're on recon, you're not so much guarding the camp as you are guarding the bridge. You know, you go out a little bit and you're looking out across the river. You're still in a well-concealed position. And it's a relatively cloudy night, but not raining. And at one point, though, the clouds break and you get uninterrupted moonlight, giving a brief period of greater illumination. And in that moment, as the shadows shift, in the trees on the far side of the river, swear there is someone looking at you.
What, looking at me?
Like, at you.
Oh, I hate that. Ah, why? Why did you have to ruin my night? That sucks.
You could have rolled all blanks, and it would have been a happy night for you.
Yeah. No.
Ignorance
I
is
was-
bliss.
Okay. Now, okay. Does he look
I
like
would
he's armed?
contend that he still is seeing things that aren't really there.
Yeah.
He might be dementia.
Could be.
I mean, he is an old retired soldier, and he might be hallucinating.
Or
They
he could
might also
have he might have a
Oh,
medical condition that he doesn't even realize.
Right?
True.
Be good.
Okay. Does this mystery ghost, does it look armed? Can I
It's
tell?
hard to tell. You're looking across a river at another figure that is in bushes and trees. So you are aware of a seemingly human shape, but picking out those. Actually, you did roll 3 successes. Give me another flat recon just to see if you can pick out those kind of details. All right. The figure. You can't really tell if it's armed, but it does look like it might be wearing a big backpack.
Santa.
Oh my goodness.
Santa Claus is coming.
He just adds Dalton's theory that this guy's definitely on something. Been eating
I
mushrooms
would
out in
like
the woods.
to step behind a tree while still keeping an eye on this figure.
Okay. You step behind the tree whilst keeping an eye on the figure. The figure does not appear to move.
I would like to lean out from behind the tree so I can see it again. Keep myself in as much cover as I can. And I would like to raise my rifle, but not aim.
So you're not taking it up to your shoulder?
No.
Okay.
But I'm making, because this person can see me, and I'm just making it clear that I can see them, and I'm being cautious, but I'm not being openly hostile.
Hmm.
I mean, if
When
they're
you do
really
that,
like that.
yeah. When you do that, the figure continues to not move. Give me another, because like minutes are passing now. Give me another flat recon.
Please, come on.
You're looking at the figure, and the clouds again are moving and shifting. And at one point, very briefly, the clouds move in such a way as obscures the moon again, and the world's just a little darker. And a couple of seconds later, the clouds are gone. Illumination is restored. The figure is no longer there.
Okay. That's definitely a ninja. No, Emil does not like this at all. He spends the rest of his watch. Can I roll for just hiding now while still watching? Because I don't want to be seen anymore.
I mean, that's also a recon. Yeah, roll it flat. I'm gonna. Okay. As you're lying there, just trying not to be seen whilst on your watch, you don't see anything else. No figures appear. There is no pair of eyes that you spy watching you. But after a little bit, the hairs on the back of your neck do start to stand up.
Okay. I would like to look around myself, see if anybody's here. Sneaking up on me.
Nobody is sneaking up on you. The only people that you are aware of are the people that you're supposed to be aware of, such as the other people on watch, your camp, that kind of thing.
I would like to notify them as quietly as I can that I have seen somebody on the other side of the river, and I've got the oogie boogies. A
Again,
bad feeling. So
Notify
who's with me on
the
watch? Is it NPCs?
yeah, it's the major's own people. So they say, we didn't see anything, old timer, but we'll take what you say seriously and keep an eye out.
So I has. And I don't really want to be super alone right now, so I stay a little bit closer to them, make sure I can always see them. But then I remain watching. I try to still stay hidden because I'm creeped out. Like I'm being haunted right now. Maybe.
I mean, does your mind go back to that night where the people were in the bushes that were then gone and that you couldn't find?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the guy that I saw, but Dalton didn't. Um. Yeah. I don't believe in ghosts, but yikers.
Emil is not a superstitious man, but he's becoming one.
Yeah.
Cautiously superstitious. Like, hey, what if?
But other than this phantasmal encounter, the evening passes and the night passes undisturbed. There are no problems, and the sun rises on a calm and gentle fourth day.
If you ever do mention it, that encounter to the Commodore, I'll be saying, go and see the doctor.
stop eating the mushrooms in the woods.
Be another thing that the doctor has to worry about.
Yeah. So, it is now the fourth day. Do you try to carry on towards Khalees? Do you change your mission at all? What's your plan?
Keeping going to Khalees. And try
Okay.
to, yeah.
I'll make that roll for you. Everybody knock off 1 day's worth of water and 1 day's worth of food. Alright. So you get back in your vehicle, you hit the tarmac, and you drive without difficulty up through Radomsko and towards Presbyorz. What's your plan as you approach this new unscouted town?
Oh, very sorry. I had to pop up without saying anything. Uh, just throwing in that Emil does share what happened, but like he blows it off. Like it's not me. I saw somebody. I saw a hitchhiker. I saw a civilian on the side of the river. It's no big deal. Sorry. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. That's all.
Go. Can you keep a watchful eye on him?
Oh no.
Dr. Rostercram, make me just a flat medical roll.
By the way, out of character, when we're talking about seeing someone across the river, is that the side that is closer to Radomsko or Shestakova?
North
side that is closer to Radomsko. Yeah,
Okay.
You were on the south bank looking at the north.
Gotcha.
Okay. From a quick just look, without
Seems
doing
fine to
anything
me.
in depth, yeah, I can at Emil, you notice no symptoms.
Okay.
Dalton would whisper at Ross again. You got any urinalysis kits with you? This guy might be on drugs.
And what I would give for any sort of something more advanced than a medical tech kit right now.
He's probably have the Ghost probably following him. And plus, he volunteers to go and scout out the village up ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dalton, can you please go with him?
Yeah, I'll go with him and can confirm whether or not he actually sees something this time.
So he doesn't spooked by his own shadow.
Give me those recon rolls again, flat.
I want to see a vampire.
Wow. Okay. So we're in a continued journey of Dalton seeing nothing and Emil seeing everything, and Dalton thinking he's crazy. I love it.
Rostergam is this close to asking to go on the next one, just to be a third witness for whatever's going on. This close.
Yep.
Yep.
There was an entire Godzilla. What did you see it?
So
I have a gun for that.
You do. As you approach Trestbourg, you again get out of the vehicle, you go out and do a little bit of reconnaissance. You get the feeling that you have not been noticed. You are able to observe from a distance a slightly larger version, effectively, of Radomsko. You do not notice any obviously uniformed troops. There are civilians going about their daily life. And the town is a mixture of destroyed buildings or damaged buildings and buildings that have been repaired and are clearly in use.
But no, like, red armbands, no
Nope,
uniforms.
You don't notice anybody in uniforms. There are people around the perimeter who are clearly sort of on watch, but no obvious red armbands, no uniforms that you notice. They look like you're in civilian gear.
All right, I share this with Brandon and suggest we go back and report.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like we can continue forward.
Right. So you drive up towards Presbyorz, and the civilians who are sort of guarding the road flag you down.
Yep, we stop.
Yep. and they speak to you in Polish.
I look to the lieutenant and go, translate.
The lieutenant is able to translate that they're effectively asking, "Who are you? What are you doing here? What's your intention?"
We're just passing through.
Okay.
Commodore Wolf with NATO.
NATO. When you say NATO, they obviously look shifty. Right, they didn't want to hear that.
Like, I'm just passing through. You can keep it guarding your village. We don't intend to take over your village or anything like that.
They gesture to the back of the truck a bit, and the lieutenant makes it clear that they just want to see what's in the back.
Go and have a look. We aren't hiding anything.
There you go. They climb up. They sort of peer at the back. Those of you who are sitting in the back can see some curious-looking Polish eyes staring at you.
Yeah,
Hello?
I'm standing up in the back of the truck, striking an Ian Anderson pose from Jethro Tull like he's playing his flute, and he's juggling 2 hand grenades and a combat knife.
Rustigan is going to need to psych eval this whole team.
I was about to say, if you're actually doing the last thing, I'm gonna want to roll, but I don't think you're being serious.
You know the pose I'm talking about, right?
I don't know it, but I can imagine it from your description.
Well, you know who Jethro Tull is, the band.
Yes, yeah.
Ian Anderson is the lead singer and the flutist. Well, whenever he's playing his flute, he's always standing on one leg with the other leg with the foot up against the inside of his other leg like a minstrel type of pose. So that's what Dalton's doing. He's standing in the back of the truck with his on one leg and the other one up on the inside of his other leg, juggling all of these weapons of destruction.
I'm gonna ask you to make a.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh,
I'm not really doing it because there wouldn't be enough room for me to do that in the back end of a truck. So.
It wasn't going to be an easy roll. Okay.
I didn't think so.
I would have been shaking my head completely, like, get him to sit down and psych eval.
After a few moments of sort of peering at everything, and they also peer under the truck, they come up over to the driver's compartment and say, "Carry on." Well, in Polish, but it's translated as "Carry on, carry on. No stopping, no stopping. Carry on."
Won't stop. We'll carry on.
Yeah. Without even a recon roll, they're clearly twitchy.
Actually, on that note, I do want to make sure that Emil, like, he doesn't have his rifle on his lap or at hand. Like, the rifle is resting out of reach, and he's just an old man, and he's looking casual and happy, and he's just smiling and being non-threatening.
It's like that old line: "Beware old men in a profession where people die young." That's
yes.
Yep.
How should they trust this?
Basically, he's gonna just continue driving through onwards.
Okay, but yeah, you are allowed through the town. As you drive through it, it is life is clearly hard here. It's not as in good a state as Pritiatyuyansky. There are hungry faces. There are people hard at work, but it's nonetheless, there is life here. It's just life on the edge. You are, however, able to drive through. When you get to the river, you can tell that the bridge was at some point blown, and it has been repaired. But it is clearly not being repaired with materials designed for the task. There's lots of wooden planks, corrugated iron, etc. This is not professionally done.
Okay. I'm gonna take it nice and slowly, nice and easily, not pushing it.
Rostergam's hands slide into her pockets, and you can see her lips moving quietly, not saying anything out loud. But
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, is she in the back seat? In the back of the truck?
I assume that's where she's been every time that we drive anywhere. Apparently she can't drive at all, so no reason to have her up.
While we're driving, Emil does kind of making just idle chatter. He goes, "So you keep putting your hands in your pockets. Let's you got a lucky charm?"
She'll pause, kind of crack an eye open, and kind of like a, you think it's weird that I put my hands in my pocket kind of a look. Like, do you think that's weird? And she will just quietly pull out her crucifix and then put it back in with the beaded rosary chain. Just put it back in.
He nods. He nods. I understand. Of course.
As you drive over the bridge, it creaks ominously. At one point, as the Commodore is driving, you kind of have to adjust because you can feel one of the sheets beneath you move. Not as though it's buckling under your weight, but as though it's been improperly secured, and it kind of shifts to the left, and you have to correct. And this is a very unpleasant experience, but you do manage to get over to the far side without the whole thing collapsing under you, or indeed behind you, and you are back on the road on the far side of the river. You are now further east than you have ever been.
He's like, stop that. He's going to go, on the way back, we're making sure to fix that sheet so it's actually properly secure.
My persuasion roll was Emil pretending not to be terrified.
Clearly terrified. Excellent. He's sweating, giving more credence to the drug theory.
But he's smiling. We're pretending.
Okay. So, you drive down the remainder of this road. It's still the same shift, so I'm going to take the same driving roll. However, as you're driving down this road, you know that there's or notice that there's a lot of close terrain here, largely woodland that abuts the road pretty closely. So much like when you drove through this scenario before, the thought of this would be the perfect place for an ambush kind of creeps into your mind.
He says out loud, "This is a perfect place to do an ambush. And I think it's a very good idea to go having two people walk out the front of our vehicle to keep a watchful eye."
You got it.
I will say that if you do move the vehicle at walking pace, you will not reach Khalees today.
Okay, can they stick their heads out the... Okay, how many seats are in the driver compartment?
It's going to be at least two, but I'm going to check if this is one of the ones that's got three. It's a classic Ural truck, so I'm just seeing. A cab. Here we go. Why can I not find interior shots?
So I'll just change the lieutenant over for the old man.
Oh yeah. No interior. It is a two-man affair.
Okay, he stops the vehicle. Get in the back. Old man in the front.
All right.
And this is up front.
Emil,
And that's my roll.
as Yep, the Eagle Eye. Oh, did you recon? So I'll tab back over. Recon. Okay, all right. As you are driving along, you do not notice anything. Nothing catches your eye whatsoever.
I hate that.
Yeah, ain't that a stinker?
I know.
So driving along, you get to about here. The terrain is still kind of tight, but there's also lots of hills and woodland around you. Does that change your strategy at all? Do you just keep on driving?
Keep on driving.
Keep on driving. All right. You go along, and you are approaching the outskirts of Skastio-Kamenia. Emil and only Emil, please give me a recon roll. Okay. You notice that only when it's too late to do anything about it. A checkpoint in the road ahead of you. There is no way in hell they haven't seen you.
Uniforms faction.
Do you point it out?
It's
Immediately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with that recon roll, and also even if you're in a truck with like conventional windows, being in a moving vehicle does apply negatives to your roll or gives bonuses to the other side. So you can tell that there are figures, and they are clearly at a checkpoint, but without getting closer, you cannot tell uniforms. They're just silhouettes at this point.
All right. Well, I still pass it on. There's something up ahead. Checkpoint.
Clearly, and there's no point of hiding. So he's gonna just drive up as nice and politely and pretend that he's just chilling and just driving along.
Right. As you approach the checkpoint, it becomes clear that this is a NATO checkpoint, and there are lots of Americans here, and they gesture for you to stop quite some distance away from the main checkpoint, and they approach you with weapons like at the ready, as though they are ready to shoot you at any moment. Because you have just driven straight up to them in a Soviet vehicle.
NATO! I yell that. So they go, hey, we're friendly.
It's unfortunate that all the Americans are in the back seat of this vehicle right now. And the Brit.
He goes, hey, we're NATO. Soviet. We just stole it from the Soviet.
Yeah, they choose not to believe you. When they get to around about 15 meters away from the truck, they just yell out loudly, "Everybody out of the truck with your hands in the air!"
Okay. Thanks.
People in the back do anything funny, or do you get out with no shenanigans?
We'll get out.
I'm still juggling, hand grenades and combat knives.
She will whack him. Go, don't you dare!
Basically, the Commodore yelled out, "Come on, yes."
Yeah.
So you, obviously, you guys know it's Americans.
I'm pretty sure we heard them yelling at us to get out the vehicle, but
well, you guys,
You
you guys didn't know specifically who it was, so I'm just yelling it out.
I mean, if they said it in English, that'd be a pretty good indicator that it's probably a friendly.
Yeah.
But unless it's English with a Russian accent, then it's like,
No, it's American accent. And I'm going to guess that at least one person here has got a Texas twang, just for a little bit of character. I say that because
that will not be Dalton.
It will not be Dalton.
Yeah.
I don't think
He is
Rostergan
not
has
from
that
Texas.
either.
The only reason why I said that, and I know that people from all over the United States would have been posted here, but I believe from a quick Google, that the 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment's like major peacetime posting is in Texas. So
Yeah, probably Fort Hood or something, probably.
Suddenly, Emil has this moment of eureka. Like he just realized something that's been bothering him for days now.
Oh,
And he turns to Brandon and goes, Dalton Brothers! The Dalton Gang, yes?
Yeah, the
Not
Daltongan.
not
Dalton Gang,
related.
yes.
I'm
Oh,
not related to those guys. No, thank you.
right, okay.
Emil's crushed.
Emil is actually a little bit disappointed because he recognized the name, finally connected it. Oh well.
But okay, when a couple of NATO uniforms get out the back, they don't obviously relax a lot, but they're slightly less aggressive. And a couple of them will stare into the back of the truck to make sure everything's okay. At which point, a corporal will approach and say, "There's a lot of NATO uniforms there." And then he looks at some of your rank badges and immediately straightens up. Uh, what is? My apologies, but what is your business here?
We're definitely looking for you guys.
For us? He stares at your various thick gold bars on your cuffs and kind of says almost hesitantly, "Sir."
Told you guys were stationed over at this city. We don't have communications help.
Who told you this? Who are we?
Other American units?
Which units?
Currently, there's 6 mechanized unit. There is the so front.
That's cavalry.
Which one?
The ones in the town with this, the
Yeah.
factory with the first cavalry.
Plus the first cavalry. We've got contact with them. Yeah, we're trying to establish communications between all factions.
Kind of looks a little enlivened or hopeful when you say that, but he doesn't immediately say anything. And it's stuff's processing in his mind for a few moments until eventually he says, "Please wait there for a moment, sir." He goes away and walks back to the checkpoint. After a while, he comes back and says, "Sir, I have been given orders to escort you into the town of," and I just need to move this, Skazkio Kamenia, where an officer will be waiting for you.
Thank you. We're ready to go in when user.
Yeah, you are. It's relatively close to the border of the Hexa, so at walking pace, he walks you, and you're idling along into Skazio Kamenia. And this, much like Presbors, is a civilian town. People are living their daily lives here. There's not much farming going on around here. Population is actually pretty small, even in post-apocalypse terms. There's a lot of buildings that are clearly abandoned, disused, etc. For whatever reason, this place has not been sustaining a decently sized population. You get the feeling that a small village worth of people are in a place that should be much more heavily occupied. However, there is a smattering of American troops here, and they're chiefly concentrated towards the north of the town, where there is also a road junction. After a while, you are sort of led into one of these groups, and the corporal says, "Please, sir, please get out. The lieutenant will be here shortly."
Thank you. And he goes to the building that he gestures to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he sits down.
This is a building. You're led inside. There are it's very sparse. It's just rough wooden chairs, rough wooden tables, a little bit of food. Almost all of it is meat, and it looks like it's preserved and hung up, like salted and dried. There's a bucket of water that's just sitting in the middle of the table, and a ladle, as though you're supposed to slop out of this thing. And you're pretty much left alone in this room after the corporal has left, presumably to return to his post. You're aware that there are people outside, civilians and soldiers alike, but in this room you are left alone, and you're left alone in there for...
He's like, "They seriously need more supplies, food supplies, water supplies."
And manners.
Maybe once we get the one route unlocked, we can actually have a proper trade route between all three factions. It means that actually can feed into all of us plus all three cities.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Wait. Are we all in there or just the officer?
Everyone's been led into there.
Okay.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk. I've been talking to you guys, and
Yeah, just for a second I felt like, wait, am I talking to them when I'm actually outside?
Dalton's
no.
standing in the corner whistling thick as a brick to himself.
and we can't forget about the ghost that in soldier likes seeing.
Oh, I mean, come on. You would say it was a ghost.
After about 20 minutes, as I said, you'll hear the sound of a motorbike outside, which comes to a stop, and the engine cuts. And in a few moments afterwards, the door will open, and in will walk a lieutenant, a junior lieutenant, who will come to attention quite smartly. And looking at the Commodore, again, he's not quite sure what those gold bars on your wrists mean, but he knows it means you're senior. And will say, "Good evening, sir. I'm told that you have come here from the 6th Mechanized Infantry and the 1st Cavalry."
Yes.
Good news.
We do occupy two cities this present time with a food supply is in abundant, but we're actually trying to reconnect a trade route between all three cities and trying to establish communication.
I'll nod at that. We could certainly do with resupply. The area around here is not well disposed to feeding a population. Lots of dense woodland, so difficult to farm, and lots of rough hills, shallow soil, chalkland. It's bad for farming around Killis, as a result of which we do have supply problems.
Oh, that's where our three units are. We use tankers, the arm. You have tanks.
Nods and says, "Yes, I am from the 3rd Armored Cavalry." And he sort of gestures to a marking on his sleeve. We are based in Calais. We have established a small outpost here, but we cannot afford to put too many people here. It would overburden the local food supply.
Yes. We can get we can establish communications with the. You guys can easily establish communications with the first organizing unit, first division. They're directly west of the bridge. Sure to avoid the city of Case, because they're whatever the city is south of.
Yeah, I mean, he nods, and says, "We're very grateful for resupply. We are, as I said, severely short on essentially everything, and we have taken very serious casualties. The city of Calise was badly damaged, as it is a vital junction. Our casualties and loss of equipment and supply were severe."
The only reason why we can't get more supply up to you guys right now is because of. Do you have a map on you?
Oh, yeah, he produces a map. He's got one of those, and it's got a sheet of acetate on it, so you can make markings.
He goes, okay. He goes and starts. This is the city of the 6th Battalion. This is the city of the 1st Division Battalion right here. Choppers are down, and these couple of cities right here. He points to the villages that the 1st Division occupies. They got a farming facility there, but we have to avoid it. This one south of there is mainly because there's Russians there. Okay? And currently, we need to know, do you produce coal? Any chance? Do you have coal?
He shakes his head, but he kind of does it somewhat hesitantly, because he says, "We don't produce coal, but Kilise was a major railway station, and whilst a large section of the railway infrastructure and the stations was destroyed in the blast, a large element of the coal reserve remains. It is not going to be resupplied, and it's designed for fueling trains. So I don't know the degree to which that will help."
Yes, that would help a lot, because we can get the 1st Battalion to actually come over and collect the coal for their facility for a little while, and they can bring over food to supply you guys while they're coming over for the coal.
He nods and says, "Does the 1st Cavalry have a lot of NBC equipment?"
They keep great documentation. They haven't taken much damage, so we can actually go and check if they got weapon supplies available to supply over to you.
The train yard was within the area of effect of the tactical nuclear blast, as a result of which there is going to be radioactive contamination.
Okay. We down in our village, we may have a squad with that. Got an issue right now, but I'll be pushing our luck with them right now. Currently mutual allies at the present time. We may be able to get the gear from supply.
He'll nod. Say, well, we have taken Very severe casualties. We were thinking of abandoning our position, but we did not know where to go. There are
Do you want
not
to?
many of us left after the nuclear blasts.
How many civilians and soldiers do you have currently?
As far as the civilians are concerned, he shrugs his shoulders. We haven't counted. As far as our own people are concerned, there are about. He kind of like shifts and moves his head, and it's difficult to keep accurate numbers, but somewhere between 500 of us left.
Because if we can use the civilians and the people onto the 6th Battalion, which they greatly need the numbers, and we do have our medical issues pretty secure. Plus, we'll have the suppliers to keep used down there as well.
Dr.
You need
Rostogram, make a flat medical roll, please.
She's clearly been distracted, by the way, with all this talk about nuclear radiation again. It is bringing back some harsh memories for her, but that's probably why she's not doing so good on this roll.
Yeah. On that theme, with the medical roll, you're not quite sure why, but you're aware that there's this odd discolored damp patch on his uniform. You can't quite work out what's causing that.
You mentioned that?
He's trying to think of a polite way to mention it. Like, why is there a stain on your uniform? No, that's not go well. I'll tell you what she will do. She will shift her position to see if it's just like the way shadow is falling, or the way it's like if it's a trick of the light or anything.
When you do that, you can tell that A, it is not a trick of the light, and 2, it's still wet.
You okay, Doctor?
I'm not sure. Something.
Is everything?
It doesn't seem right.
What doesn't seem right?
I just can't remember. That's the problem.
Out of character, and this is for the Commodore because of your intelligence talent. When he was saying that they've got maybe somewhere between 300 and 500 people left, he didn't seem sure. You know that that's going to mean that these people, if that number is accurate, have probably taken over 90% losses.
He's like, yeah, 80% losses. Thinking he said 90% losses then. Okay, we're gonna have to get you guys checked over for radiation. Well,
When you
just
say
in
that,
case.
he holds up a hand and says, "Don't bother. We've had a couple of our own doctors survived, and we were all checked, and we're periodically rechecked to see how it's progressing. But most of us have got some form of obvious manifestation of radiation exposure."
Okay, we may have the supplies to keep you stable for a while, but you can't. There's no cure for it.
He doesn't seem upset when you say that. It's as though he accepted that a long time ago.
I just had a slight worry. Does that mean they are radioactive?
Out of character, that's what I would say.
No. Basically, when a human actually gets exposed to radiation, they can't produce it to other people. So it's like they're the only ones contaminated.
Would
Like
Emil
the
know
only
that?
way that they would be able to do it is if, for whatever reason, they had the radioactive element present inside them in a large degree, which is not something that you would get from a nuclear blast.
Is that common? I mean, okay. During these years, would that be common knowledge? Like, would Emil realistically know that? Because I know that.
Yeah.
Does Emil?
How old
Because
is Emil?
fucking old. No, he's not that old. He's 50.
Okay, so he'd have been
Oh yeah,
born
he's
in
50.
around. So yeah, he would have been born in 1950 then, which means he served in the 70s. He would probably
Oh shit, it's right.
have.
It's the year 2000. He probably knows.
Yeah. So he would have like base, like, even without the talent, you'd have really basic NBC training, which
Yeah.
part of it would be, this guy isn't contaminated, or like, well, he's,
Yeah, okay,
he's
so
not
he's fine.
contagious. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus the so he's like, how many vehicles do you have currently?
He sighs. It's as though things are a lot of effort for him. He says, we've got about 10 vehicles that we can get at. There are more in the contaminated area. We can't get to them. Very few of us are still in Kiel's. The center and large sections of that city are just, and he shakes his head as though to suggest they're just lost. We're in the outskirts and in places nearby. And
Okay.
some of our supplies, if they're still, including the vehicles, if they're still intact, they're in the zone we can't get to.
Okay. Can we get people rallied to this point so we can actually start the moving process for you guys?
Bill said I'll have to talk to the captain, but the captain says yes, then we can start moving. Some of our people will have to leave behind if that happens. They won't survive the trip. But
Ooh.
the
Okay.
Oh,
No.
okay.
He's like, how bad are they?
we're in various different stages. About a good handful of the boys, they're clean. They're not presenting any symptoms. Some of us are hours away. Some of us are weeks away. People are dying every day. We've had various different levels. Some of us could be years. Some of us could have whole lives. Some of us won't see tomorrow.
So, if
Okay.
we are we planning to evacuate here? Is that what?
Yeah, we're gonna have to because the city's contaminated to the point that we need to leave the city for a good number.
Well,
What?
if we are evacuating, and there are people that cannot travel, they're going to be left behind. That is just the reality of it.
Yeah.
I'm just confirming they're going to be left behind.
I don't like leaving people behind.
Out of character, and I'm giving you this because Soberslau has got NBC talent and would say this if they were here, which is that radiation like that lingers from a tactical nuclear blast. It's not nothing, but it's significantly smaller than, say, a strategic or something else, and tends to go relatively quickly. It's not the sort of thing that will hang around in really high amounts for like years and years and years. But, like if the damage has already been done to a human, then
So that's what I'm getting at. There are people who are going to be left behind because they can't travel.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. Plus, we need to clean the area out too, as well. That's the
So
problem.
this is a little bit dark, but
Yeah,
we're going to be leaving people. Okay, so I'm talking like out of character, sort of.
yeah.
Sort of in character, sort of
Hmm.
out of character. We're people are going to be left behind. They're going to die. I'm not sure how to broach this without sounding really callous. So Emil's just going to be like, if you're leaving them behind, are we going to be euthanizing or just leaving them to starve?
Yes.
This is a question,
Okay.
especially to the NPC. That's very rude thing to call. The officer.
Yeah.
He goes. The Commodore goes. Basically, tells the captain what he wants to do. If he wants to stay, does he want to evacuate?
The lieutenant will nod. I will be back. It is getting late, and this place is fine. It is clean. Stay here for the night, and I will come back in the morning with our answers.
Okay. Thank you. That I can only ask the lieutenant captain if he wants to stay or go.
Are we alone? Are they gone?
They gone?
I mean, they're gone when you finish talking to them. They will then leave.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm finished talking with them.
Okay.
Once
So
the
the
room is-
lieutenant will leave. There are people left behind here, like American servicemen. You notice, perhaps, though, that the American servicemen here seem to be in better shape than the lieutenant, and you haven't noticed anyone here who's sporting obvious signs of contamination yet. There may be subtle signs, but you haven't noticed anyone who's obviously very sick. But the lieutenant will get back on his motorcycle and drive off.
Once we have privacy, Amy will go. Hey, so they're going to be left behind. If that happens, I do not think it is humane to let them just starve or just lay there in bed until they're gone. But I also don't think it is fair to ask them to put down their fellow soldiers.
Yeah, I know.
That's also
But I thought maybe I would say if someone has to do it, better maybe that it's somebody who doesn't know them. And I could volunteer to do it. I don't want to do it, but better me than, I don't know, some friend.
Rostigan is going to say, well, that's, you're assuming, of course, that they have anything here to euthanize with.
He
Unless
passes
you suggest
rifle.
shooting them.
He nods. He doesn't say it, but he nods.
I'll wait for the captain's response to see what he wants to do. And so he knows he has an option if he wants to evacuate or stay.
And I'd remind people that ammunition is in short supply and we shouldn't be wasting it killing people that are defenseless.
Yeah, but it is like it can be done, but it is maybe a little brutal to use a knife. But he shrugs. Whatever they wish, whatever is best for them, I can do it. I volunteer.
Let's wait till tomorrow morning and see what the answer is. Because I don't want to jump to conclusions or anything like that.
Oh, I would not. I would not be jumping at it, so to speak.
But it's always good to have options. So
He nods and then he shrugs, and then he kicks a stone.
so let's get some rest and
There are enough troops here that, and they're taking watches of their own, and you will not need to consume any additional food tonight because they will give you their dried meat. But you notice they're kind of hesitant to do it, but they do it anyway.
Well, yeah, they're hungry.
Yeah.
I will not accept food for them.
Oh,
I will accept
if you
water.
don't. Okay, if you don't accept food, then knock off a unit of food consumption from your sheet.
Could
If
you
you
do
do
it for
accept
me?
food, don't. Okay, all right, I'll do that.
Sorry, I don't have a keyboard still.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
I
sitting here
forgot.
looking at it and grieving it and thinking about cool plans on how to clean it.
So put that in there. All right, I've knocked off the unit sheet. You get the water. You might hesitate a bit, having heard about the various nuclear contaminations. Just sort of thinking, is this water okay? But everyone seems to be drinking it.
Is everybody seeming healthy?
There are some who
The
are.
people here, yeah, seem healthy. This place seems okay.
I look at the doctor. I look at the roster again. So I don't say anything, but like they're offering us water, and I look at her. I look at her first, like. Sort of like probing, like, oh, is this okay to drink, doctor?
The doctor can give me a medicine roll or a survival roll, your choice, but I suspect it'll be medicine. Okay, you know that the main thing is going to be, where the water comes from. So crucially,
Which she was going to ask.
It should come not from any surface sources like a river or a reservoir, particularly if it's relatively near a blast. It'll only be conceivably safe if it comes from an underground water source, and I hope you just got to hope that the water table hasn't been contaminated. That is unlikely, or if it comes from like a massive underground reservoir, that hasn't been contaminated, which again is unlikely, but if it's surface water, it is not safe.
he's gonna go out to the soldiers. Where do you get your water from?
I mean, there's no rivers nearby on the map.
They sort of point towards the center of the village, and they say, "There's an old medieval well that was disused, but we reactivated, we re-cleared it, and started using it again."
Hey,
Well, water.
Lieutenant, scan. In the well.
Sorry, what did you say?
I go. Doc, can you get the Do you have the scanning thing for is to check if there's any radiation?
Oh yeah, your Geiger counter. So yeah, you go get that and like point it down the well, and I mean you are aware that these things have got relatively short range and wells are deep, but you get background readings, health. Fine. If you also point it at a bucket of water that gets drawn up, they also boil it before it's given to you. But if you point it at a bucket of water, it comes out with background.
Okay, good. He's like, oh yeah, it's safe.
Yes, thank you. That was a lot of work. Yeah, he looks very grateful.
I wanted to make sure that the well was safe for the other people as well.
So there are enough people here to take guard throughout the night, but do any of you want to take guard or watch?
Always. Somebody is stalking me.
I'm always on guard.
Game doesn't want to take guard, but she needs to clear her head. She will not immediately be able to sleep.
Well, anyone who's actively on watch, make me a recon roll flat.
Damn it.
Okay, so the two of you sort of like help out the local guards, take your own shifts. You don't notice anything in the trees today, or in the little patch of clear around the edge of the village. At one point, there's a bit of a rustle, and you think, "Oh, what's that?" But it turns out to just be woodland wildlife that runs away into the trees before you can do anything about it.
Just go away.
But other than that, the night is uneventful. Ostagram, you're clearing your head. Is there anything in particular you want to do?
She's just walking streets, meandering, looking at I don't know, just something to take her mind off of the fact that there's nuclear sickness here. Very much like she's already had to witness far too many times, even before she was drafted.
Well, you can make me a... Let's have a look-see. You can make me either a command or a cool under fire, your choice. Roll flat. Okay. As you are walking through the streets trying to get those very unpleasant thoughts out of your mind, the active effort to push them out of your mind just drags them more into your mind. You dwell on it more and more. You can roleplay that absolutely however you like. Mechanically, take 1 point of stress.
No.
Well, I guess maybe she's... Never mind, you said that's stress, it's not physical damage.
Yeah.
Oh, about radiation.
Yes.
At what point does it become visible that you have radiation sickness?
It really depends what kind of radiation sickness you've got. I mean, in some cases, if it's just not necessarily radiation sickness, but just, I say just, like sickle cell anemia or cancer, like very few visible signs up until you're about to die. If you've got more conventional radiation sickness, it depends on dosage. You'll start to look very tired, and you'll be sort of carry on.
Mechanically, like in the game. How many points before it becomes visible?
That will depend on your like higher level cap. Basically, it's a very high level. It's going to be probably north of maybe 7 or more.
Yeah, okay.
The person who is suffering from it will probably feel it before then, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. So the night passes uneventfully, and the morning passes uneventfully too. It's coming up to midday when the motorcycle riding lieutenant returns.
Okay.
And when he comes back, he'll say, "All of the healthy people." Actually, he won't even start with that. He'll say, "I'm in charge now. All of the healthy people will be coming here in the next day or so. They'll be bringing the supplies that they can carry with the few vehicles we've got. The people who are afflicted Ones who are too sick to move, they are staying here. They are being given a choice, which they will decide for themselves. The people who are sick and still move are largely staying behind, particularly if they don't think they've got long. Going to look after one another, look after the people who are too sick to move until the inevitable.
So,
And then he just sort of like tails off.
Yeah.
Yes, and he kind of looks at your sleeves and sees no rank badges. So yes.
Sorry. My name is Emil. I'm finished. Finished Special Forces. Retired. You say you're giving them options. There is no good way to put this. This is all very terrible. So I would just say it. I do not feel it is right for a soldier to have to help ease the suffering of a comrade. It is very hard. It can really damage a person. If it is required, I can volunteer to help.
He'll nod and say, "We'll probably have to deal with a few dozen."
Emil sort of like frowns and nods, and then nods again. I better me than some poor kid.
He'll like he'll have like one of those snort chuckles that at that. Say, "Oh, if anybody of us was going to do it, it'll be the ones who stay behind to look after them." But I think they might appreciate someone else taking that burden off of their shoulders.
He nods at this.
Well,
But he's like about to say something, but then he stops himself and just gives like a small, sad nod.
if you want, my people are already preparing to leave. You can come back with me now and get it over with. I don't know if the rest of your people want to come.
We'll be waiting here. Amelia, if you want to go ahead, you can.
Yeah, he nods. He will go ahead.
Well, in that case, and we're heading towards the end of session, so we'll just do this one scene. He will head back to his motorcycle and sort of gesture for you to get on behind him and hold on tight. And rev it up and drive off towards Khalees. It's a short drive, but a pleasant drive were it not for the grim task that you were about to do. And as you approach the edge of the town, you can see that the area is utterly devastated. It is wrecked. This is the worst that you've ever seen any of these settlements. There are no tall buildings. Rubble is just everywhere. Loads of things are sort of blown around on their side. There have clearly been rampaging, out of control fires that have just burned through the city and now burned out due to a lack of fuel. Everything that could burn has burnt. There are scorch marks everywhere. There's also a rancid smell. It's just horrific. But he doesn't take you through the center of town. He takes you on the sort of very skirting edge suburban roads. He approaches a collection of tents and warehouses and repaired buildings that's clearly their improvised base. It's almost out of town, You can see people loading supplies into trucks, but mainly people are loading supplies into backpacks or strapping things onto the backs of backpacks, like really overburdening what they can personally carry, and are starting to walk towards where your team is currently based. At one point, you think you see what might be the coal tip that was previously being talked about, where there's a big coal supply, but it's not near the train yard. It's only when you are close to it that you realize that it is a pile of human bodies that have not burnt properly.
Damn.
As they were heaping up the dead and in trying to incinerate them. They're black and scorched and ash and charcoal, and it's not gone well.
Emily's glad the rest of the team isn't here.
You are taken to one of the warehouses where there are lots and lots of people just lying on beds. They say that we've put all of the ones who made the choice to go now on here, on this side of the room. It's clear that the people on the other side of the room, like there aren't very many screens. They're probably going to see, but they're too sick to move, and they just don't have what's necessary to create privacy around here. You would normally expect to see people on sort of IV drips or some other kind of medical support, but there just isn't, because those supplies are long since ran out. They say we are trying to bring as much of the ammunition, what little we've got, with us to help in your efforts. As a result of which, we have this, and a trolley is wheeled up. And tell me, your character was a farmer, wasn't he?
Hold on. Well, yes, he had a childhood of being a farmer. Yes.
Okay. In that case, you probably recognize a retractable bolt from
A sheep killer.
cattle.
Oh,
Yep,
a cattle killer. Sorry, yeah. God damn! This is dark.
And it's, the gas canister is on the trolley.
Oh man, it is really hard for him to not break character, but he doesn't. He nods somberly, takes the bolt and he looks at it, checks it over, attaches the canister, make sure everything's working, and then he nods. Those of you who if everybody has said their goodbyes, those who do not want to see this should leave now.
And yeah, there's just a couple of minutes of a couple of people either like doing their best to look away, like the ones on the beds. Other people move away, but it's clear that they are ready for you.
After that, the next step is, of course, offer the people last chance, like do they want to pray, anything like that.
Yep.
And then the simple is just like, when you're ready, just close your eyes. And then, when
I'm not
you
going to
close
make
your eyes. Huh?
Yep. I was supposed to say, I'm not going to make you go into any particular detail, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah, because this is this is a lot. He's gonna, and then when they close their eyes, he puts it against, I guess, their temple.
Yeah, somewhere on their head will do it.
Yeah, and then conk. Then he pulls back the bolt, checks the gas, moves on to the next bed. And then
mercifully again, instant and pain-free.
Clunk. Yeah.
You go down the line. Now, you have the killer trait, don't you?
Yes, I do. But the party doesn't know about that. It's a secret.
Carry on.
So, and every time he does it, he always offers the person who's about to up and down. Whether they see him, like whether they look at him or not, doesn't matter. He always offers them a smile. And while it's supposed to be a smile of kindness, it is a genuine smile. And then, conk, and then pulls the boat back, checks the gas, moves on. And he takes no breaks. He does his clean. Not too fast though. Like he's in no hurry, and there's like he's
not too many people,
of course, merciful. Like he's not just like hurrying through this. This is industrial, but he takes his time just a little bit, and then when it's finally over, he returns to the, he steps outside. His hands are bloody. There's a little bit of spatter, not a lot, but a little bit of spatter on him. He goes, I would like to wash my hands. So just a tiny bit of brightness in his voice, just a tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
And then,
so yeah, you take no stress, and you merciless bastard, and will then when you get out and you ask to wash the hands, the lieutenant is waiting for you, and he'll say, "Of course," and you're taken to like a little bucket that's clearly just for washing purposes. The water's already clearly a bit dirty, but it'll do.
It'll do.
It'll do. And he then says, "Well, you are willing to wait for a few more hours. You can drive out on one of these trucks, or you can start walking now with that section over there." And he points at a group of men who are bristling backpacks, who are walking out right now. And I wish you the best of luck, Emil. Please pass on my wishes of good fortunes to the rest of your team. And he puts out a hand to shake it.
Same to you, and my deepest condolences to. Well, there's no saying. Like he's clearly like trying to find words, but then it's like, I guess there's nothing you can say about something like this. And then he just shakes his hand, firm handshake.
I hope to see you again, but I don't think I will. And there's a thin smile behind the lieutenant's words.
Yeah, he gives you a little smile back and goes, "I hope so too." And then he will start walking back to the party.
Yep. And the lieutenant will go off, and he'll stay with the people who chose to stay behind, because he is in charge. Well, he's in his mind. He's in charge, and these are the worst people. Like he's got to stay with them. It's his job to stay with them. Because you may have noticed him say, "I'm in charge now." Read into that.
Yes, because his leader is dead. I assumed, his immediate officer has died.
Yeah, but I assumed.
And Emil got to express himself a little bit. That's good.
Indeed. And yeah, it'll take you up until the sun is coming down again to walk back with the rest of these people. You might be able to get a bit of traveling, and it won't be until the next day that like all the vehicles come up and that kind of affair.
Yeah.
I would like to make a roll when I return to the party.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! I mean, hey, it's wow, the weather's kind of nice. He's looking a bit chipper. He's got a good long walk. He's cleared his head. It's not unusual to be, be light in step. Right? The sun is rising. Everybody's happy at the sunrise, right?
Emil fails to pretend to be normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
surprise, by the way. Yeah, everybody. I'm the good guy. Don't worry. I'm the good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah. Well, I think this is the scene where we will be ending today's session. But before we do formally end it, does anyone want to do any sort of immediate role play based on what just occurred, or any conversations before we put stuff over into 2 weeks from now?
No, he's just gonna chill out the next day and make sure that everything's ready to go tomorrow, and make sure the civilians rest up for a long ahead.
Yeah. Yep.
But-
And
Yeah.
it's very obvious that there are far more people than vehicles, so this is going to be at walking pace, and you know at walking pace this is going to take several days.
Yep.
So date at this point is like July 26th, July 27th.
The point at this date at this point would be July 20. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're heading it because you took. Hang on, I'm gonna recalculate this. Hang on. So that would be okay. So my 20th becomes my 1, 2, 23, 4, 5, 6, 27th. Yeah.
Okay.
We want to get back to the city before winter hits and actually,
Oh yeah, you're well away from then. Winter is not going to be a problem for you. At least not yet. But okay, all right. I look forward, by the way. It probably never happened, but I think if it does happen, it would be entertaining for Emil and Rostergown to have a conversation.
Hey, we
About
2 weeks text roleplay. It could all happen.
No.
It could.
Oh.
Hey,
Thanks.
there's nothing to talk
Is
about.
the reason my character thinks you're haunted by a ghost, it's probably because somebody you killed or something
No.
haunting you.
No, I mean,
Emil,
as far
that's
as
not a
roster
killer.
game. No, go ahead, Emil.
no, that's it. Emil's not a killer.
Vengeful spirit.
For now.
You
Never
never
know.
know. So you were saying?
As far as roster game, like she's, I mean, because again, you failed to persuade the team that anything is normal. So there's one red flag there. But she's also under a bit of stress now, clearly. And also the date does not help, but she has not really talked with anybody in this team about anything in her past. So no one really understands, you know, so that's also factoring in there too. That's fluff stress that has not actually made it onto the sheet yet, but I'm sure that factors in. But pretty much she's just not saying anything to you at this point. Like, she's just like, I can't do anything. I cannot say anything right now. I cannot handle conversation with this person at this stage. And
Ooh, interesting. Well, I hope people had fun, but yes, I will call the
I
session
love
here.
Yep.
What an ending. That was very exciting.
I'm glad.
The moment I
my-
learned that people were going to be left here, I was like, well, hell yeah. I want to get in on this.
Basically, I'm wondering, and now the Commodore is probably thinking, oh, what is the Major going to think when he brings a whole lot of people down?
Oh, yeah. Because they're already struggling with supplies, and now we're going to bring a lot more.
Yeah. They're yeah.
Yep.
It'll be
It's
fine.
gonna be an issue. Yeah, it's almost like like supply shortages are a thing that drives plot.
Yep.
But all right, excellent. Well, I call the session here. Glad everybody had fun.